Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. BlizzCon happened, and we're going to do a BlizzCONversations podcast. I am
Oh
Paul, and with me is
man.
Hank, as usual. This is
Hello.
annual now, by the way. We
Yep.
have one for 2015, 2016, and now 2017. So,
Nice. I
but
forgot we'd done it twice before.
we have,
I
yeah.
thought
The first
I only
one was
remember
the
the
big
last
one.
time.
The first one was
Gotcha.
Legion.
Oh, okay.
That's the 4 hour one.
That's the one I remember.
Okay.
I don't remember last year apparently.
I don't
Weird.
remember last year's either, to be honest.
Huh.
Last year's was an audio only one as well because I was in a transition period between. I think
hmm
that's when I moved to this new place that I'm in. So I just had
Gotcha.
nothing set up. Um, yeah, some news came out this year though, so that's pretty exciting. And I was
Yeah.
a little afraid because Warcraft took the brunt of the news this year, and that usually means a long conversation. And the reason why we started doing this in the first place is because we have opinions on Blizz stuff. We are longtime Blizzard fanboys, have played all the games at least once and maybe
Yeah.
multiple years worth of time in all of them. Um, and honestly, for TDP, like TDP is not the place to do that stuff. It's too
hmm
much news for a general audience that their eyes glaze over. So that's kind of why we do it here and can get really deep into stuff. So without further ado, we're going to
hmm
start with the big news, Diablo. So for Diablo, absolutely nothing at all was announced. So that's awesome. Thanks, guys. The one series that actually really got me into Blizzard, because I played Warcraft before, but I was like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's cute, it's fine. And then like Warcraft eventually got better, but Diablo was my
hmm
jam. So the fact that they always shit on it is like infuriating to me. Um,
But okay,
yeah,
they did shit on it, but I mean at this point they don't know what to do with it, I assume.
yeah, I assume so too.
Like
It's super
what do you
annoying
do?
though.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
the thing is I'm pretty sure they're working on Diablo 4. That's the big rumor people are talking about.
mhm.
And that's I know the next thing that they're doing with Diablo is like we were talking a little bit off mic before was they are going to be doing the Diablo 2 remastered sort of thing so you can jump back in.
Mhm.
Problem is that game is full of hackers and exploits and all that sort of stuff, so they need to clean that out because what the remasters do is they just kind of like put a HD glaze over the old stuff. Like it's not all new servers or something. They need to clean all that other shit out first.
Yeah. Like HD Starcraft, they had to update original Starcraft.
Yeah.
Original Starcraft, if you load that game up now, if you have it patched, it has like an ad for HD Starcraft in it and all the server stuff connects. So
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, so the reason they did StarCraft is because apparently StarCraft was, for all intents and purposes, flawless. Like, before the old game, people were still playing it. It was still heavily moderated and, like, making sure people weren't exploiting stuff or, like, using cheats or any of that stuff. And it was very clean,
hmm
so they just had to redo some units and, like, some voice work and throw it in there, and they're done. Uh, Diablo and
Well,
Warcraft 3 apparently are going to be way worse to do.
yeah. Yeah, they did a like PTR thing for Warcraft 3 where
Yeah.
they had new maps for
Yeah.
Warcraft 3, but like no one was playing it. Like I wanted to play it, but like it just didn't have enough interest in this busted ass beta that was the PTR that went down like immediately.
Yeah.
It was weird. It
The
was a weird
problem
thing.
the problem with that one is apparently the ranked ladder. They got to find out how to make that work.
hmm
Like from back then to now and like make sure things are still I don't know. Apparently that's a
Yeah.
mess for them. So that's why that's not done yet.
I think
But
they are finally going to bring in a. They're doing stuff with StarCraft HD. Like I think a ranked ladder is still coming for that thing.
yeah.
Uh, I watched an update video on that a while ago, but
Yeah, I'm sure they're figuring that
they're
out.
working on that. It was just to get it off the ground was easier, I guess.
Yeah, just to bring it back, they're not working on Diablo right now at all, basically, from what we know.
Well, I'm sure they're working on it. They're just not close enough.
Yeah, there is one thing that like people were saying is that they have at BlizzCon some stations you can sit at and like play some of their games and new content. So apparently the Diablo team, like if you played Diablo 3 there, they were working on a few technical upgrades. So there are some changes with some of the campaign stuff, specifically something to do with like when somebody was saying when you storm like the gates of the Pandemonium Fortress or whatever, like in Act 5 or whatever, there's like a part now where the butcher like throws chains from hell or something to try to like rip the land apart, and you like destroy those and make it a little more intense. Like just little shit like that, I guess they're adding here and there.
Weird.
Yeah,
That's weird.
and I guess the big one that people were talking about was apparently there's some new tech in the Greater Rifts. So that stuff is cooler now because there's a type of boss rush mechanic added to it where like randomly
Dope.
Diablo will be like, here, take this, and like throw a bunch of like bosses at you.
Take this.
Yeah, which is the dumbest sounding thing, but I mean, it shows that they're still doing stuff. There was just nothing big, I guess, announced. So there's your
They put out a message in their forums before BlizzCon telling the community like, "Hey, we're working on stuff, but none of it's ready for this BlizzCon, so we're not going to have anything."
I mean, here's the thing: is that if they don't present something next year, that game's dead. Like the fact that they had absolutely no presence at all this year is scary to me. If they have no presence at all next year, they're dead. Like that's just it.
I mean, and last year was like not a. I mean, the Necromancer thing was cool, but that's not like a huge thing.
But it was a
That's
thing.
a character. Yeah, it was something like that. That's like why the Diablo HD thing not being here is weird to me. Just because that's the thing I know they're working on. They could have had something.
Yeah.
Just to say we're making it.
Yeah.
But I guess they don't want a long tail on that to get asked about it all the time. I don't know.
I guess not. Yeah.
Because StarCraft HD came out not that long after it was announced.
That's true.
So I assume that's stuff about like we want to announce it kind of close to when we're done.
Yeah. And in a way that's fine, but I kind of wish they had even gone on stage and said, this is what we're actually doing right now. It'll be ready sometime next year, we hope.
Well, there's another thing they announced that I think is kind of just that.
Yeah. So let's just call that it for Diablo. Let's move on to Starcraft. Because Starcraft had the thing of the show, I think, that made me go, oh, wow, okay. So we know for the longest time StarCraft, while big in the esports scene in Korea specifically, has kind of been dying for a long time now. For like
the problem was like StarCraft 2 was kind of dying and people were going like, oh, we should just play StarCraft 1. Like, what do you do with StarCraft 2 if you're like transitioning back to making StarCraft 1 a thing again? Because that game is like the more interesting thing for high level players.
Yep. The answer is you make it free to play. So anybody who had ever wanted to play with their friends can now do so, which is a huge step, and to be honest, a fucking kind of scary one, I think. So
I mean, it's scary if it doesn't have a huge player base. Like, I don't know how many people are going to be playing StarCraft now that it's free.
That's kind of that's kind of the problem. Also, that's a thing that's happening like real soon. StarCraft 2 is going free to play next week as of this recording, November 14th, 2017. So,
it's just the multiplayer that's free to play. I think Wings of Liberty, that expansion's free to play. Yeah, and if you owned Wings of Liberty, you get Heart of the Swarm, but I think that's it. And then you can buy the individual ones for 15.
That's right, yeah. So what this entails is you will get Wings of Liberty campaign totally free. If you've never, ever played StarCraft 2 before, you can just go ahead and download that. And that's until December 8th. So this is something I will be bringing up on TDP because it's time sensitive. So you have to claim it by December 8th, but if you have the BNet launcher, which most people do now because of Destiny, to be honest with you, that weren't in the...
Fucking Overwatch.
And Overwatch, yeah. I mean, fucking
Yeah.
John has the BNet client installed now because of Overwatch, so, like, yeah, a lot of people have that. So, yeah, claim by December 8th. If you're like me and you have Wings of Liberty and kind of fell off of it and didn't buy the other 3, you'll actually get Heart of the Swarm for free instead.
Yep.
I was a little surprised to hear that, like, if you had those 2 and you didn't have the last one, they wouldn't just give you the last one, because it seemed like, why not? But I understand. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's still kind of new, to be honest. Like, it's less...
I mean, it's 2 years old.
Yeah.
Last year was the Nova thing.
Oh,
which I think was $15, so I feel like that was like the signal that this was the way they were thinking of going like $15 chunks of single player for like a more reasonable like goal for what they could do and then like mess with to keep the game going.
So not only will you get Wings of Liberty campaign or Heart of the Swarm, you'll also get current and upcoming co-op commanders up to level 5, all free, except for Raynor, Kerrigan, and Artanis. They'll be completely free forever. So even after level 5. And
the co-op commander stuff is like stuff that I've always wanted to do, but just never had anyone to do it with.
No, that stuff's real cool. It's just, I kind of feel the same. Like, it's not cool enough for me to do it. Thing. Like, because I don't have it installed. If I had it installed and it's just like, do you want to do a co-op commander? I would try it out. Why not? Maybe we should try that, especially with the new commanders coming out.
I have it installed.
Yeah, I don't. I could. I just haven't.
I think I have everything in the Blizzard launcher installed.
Yeah.
I think I just have it all. Even Hearthstone, which I don't play, I still have it installed.
I do have Hearthstone installed.
I have them all installed. There's just something...
Yeah, because
something
why not?
about it. I mean, at some point that'll probably change, but for now...
Yeah. Also, I think the big thing is that the multiplayer isn't necessarily free. You have to unlock it. Like, you will get the ranked ladder
that's to
stuff.
That's to fight off bots, basically.
Yes.
And
so
like Smurf. Yeah.
You earn being able to do the multiplayer ladder stuff by doing 10 first wins of the day or whatever, either in unranked or versus. So,
and I think there's precedent for that with something. I can't remember, but the community seemed fine with it when I was looking up comments in the forums and stuff.
Sure, it seems totally fine.
Like, this makes sense. This is a thing you should do,
especially because you can do it against bots. Like, I think the big thing with this is that the multiplayer is fully unlocked. Units from all 3 expansions are included in it.
Yeah, I mean, the key is getting Legacy of the Voids multiplayer, because that's the one people actually play.
Yeah.
Like, nobody plays Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Swarm multiplayer anymore.
And they know that.
They just don't.
The thing about the StarCraft team is they're very cognizant about what their community does and wants, and, like, what is good about their thing. So I think they do try to play to those strengths, and this is just more of them, like, showing that. The big thing was the whole free-to-play was, like, insane to me, but, like, maybe it just makes sense. Along with this, the single-player campaigns will be $15 individually or bundled for $40.
Okay. So, there's also a bundle.
There's also a bundle coming out. Also, if people own any of the 3 campaigns as of, like, before BlizzCon, October 31st, they will get an exclusive ghost skin and 3 portraits. Because
woo! StarCraft 2 portraits! They're the best! They're clearly the best thing.
Yep.
I guess if they have skins for the co-op commander stuff, I wonder if that'll start being more of a thing. Because, like, for a long time, the only StarCraft 2 thing they give away in those big Blizzard bundles has been fucking portraits. And it's the lamest thing.
They fucking love their portraits so much.
I mean, they didn't have anything else built into that game to give to people.
I guess so.
I assume that'll change with the free-to-play shift. They're just figuring out other ways to put little thing doodads or visual changes and stuff.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, let's talk about some of the new content they're going to be adding, though, because I thought this was a little cool. The new co-op commander they're adding is Han and Horner, which is the married couple. Admiral Matt Horner is one of the Terran dudes. I think he's friends with Raynor, but he's like one of the admirals or whatever for the fleet. And his wife or ex-wife, I think her name is Mira. I have it written down somewhere here. Yeah, Mira Han is like, has a bunch of like renegades basically. So the whole co-op thing is like Mira's stuff is very like relentless attack, just like very just guerrilla warfare bullshit going on, while Matt's stuff is like using the power of the fleet. So what she gets is first of all the salvage ability, which basically when your friendly units die, you'll recover a portion of the cost back every time they die. She focuses more on upgrading her forces and apparently uses starports, which are more mobile production transports that she like sends units out of. So she's very mobile and like sending dudes after things, which is kind of cool. And those apparently create drones, kind of like the old Protoss like ships with a bunch of just like things flying around shooting everything.
Well, dope.
It's kind of cool actually to see Terran have that technology, I guess, which is just basically a giant thing with a bunch of little things coming off of it.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So that's why I'm a little bit excited, to be honest. Also, her ability breakdowns are she has magnetic mines, which are basically just the spider mines, but she lays a shitload of them. Best used for traps and like to claim an area sort of thing. And this is a good one. Space station reallocation, where she literally drops a fucking space station in an area that blows up.
It's pretty good.
It's really fucking good. It's like, oh, there's just a bunch of like pesky Zerg here. Let's just drop a fucking space station on them and blow up everything in the area when that explodes from the damage. Yeah, it's really good. I liked that a lot. That tickled me. On the other side, Matt Horner, being the admiral of a fleet and all that stuff, he starts with a starport, which is cool. So you instantly can just start building ships. He apparently is able to instantly call down his dudes right into battle, like there's no travel time, which is cool. He has advanced ravens, so better recon system, aka wall hacks for the fog of war stuff. You can just see things in it that are nearby. Yeah. And his abilities are precision strike, because of course. Apparently this does more damage to structures specifically, and the big thing about it is that can be used very often, like a pretty general attack. So he can like really fuck up buildings and unit structures and stuff. Yeah. And call in the fleet, which is essentially what Raynor's ultimate in Heroes of the Storm is, where there's just like a fleet of battle cruisers attacking from the sky down at the ground.
The most disappointed I ever was with seeing one of these co-op commander things. Yeah. Was for Phoenix, the one they did, because I thought it was a Heroes of the Storm character, because all his abilities were just straight on his character.
Yeah. That's really funny. That's it. There's a small video of them, and like I really hope that fucking banter isn't in the game, but I'm sure it is, which is super annoying. Where it's just like a weird like ex-wife, I don't know, talking to her ex-husband. It's weird.
I mean, that's only if one person picks one of them and the other person.
That's
picks
true.
The other.
No, you're right. That's true.
So you're kind of opting in at that point.
I guess so. And a new mission was added to that as well, called Part and Parcel, and it was the winning submission from the Rock the Cabinet 2017 community map contest. I didn't pull a whole lot about that because I don't care about community created content necessarily. Like, I just don't. I'm sorry. But anyways, it was good enough that they added it officially. So.
I cared about Dota. That was community created content.
You're right. There's limitations to my caring about it, I guess.
That's fair.
There are a whole bunch of multiplayer unit changes coming. I didn't write all of them down because there is actually a full 20-page blog post on that, basically. That people
I'm sure there's a lot, and a lot of it's probably super minor, that unless you're super into it.
Some of it's pretty big, depending. Like, one of the big ones, for instance, the Raven, lost all his abilities and got revamped versions of them. So the Raven now has a scrambler missile, which does this weird area of effect, sort of where it disables things, and the Shredder missile does more damage to buildings, and it's one of those things that
yeah. I remember hearing that they were gonna remove Mothership Core. So
yes, yeah, it's stuff like that.
That's kind of big.
So the basic stuff I have on that, though, is what they want to do is try to reduce sudden game-ending moments where there's just two players or teams or whatever going at it, and then the game's over because one team just wins now. Essentially, they're trying to reduce that. They want to make support units effective in smaller numbers, which seems cool because support units are kind of bullshit in that game unless you have a full platoon army of them. So that's good. They want to ensure units have a unique role, which I don't really understand what they meant by that, to be honest with you, because you have an idea?
Well, I guess it's just compared to StarCraft 1.
Okay.
I've been watching Day9's some of his StarCraft videos and just seeing how specific roles units have and per matchups. And it just seems like in StarCraft 2, a lot of it's just you build lots of shit and it's not nearly as technical.
Okay.
So just having stuff, you can kind of just overwhelm with stuff in a way you can't in StarCraft 1.
Okay.
So
I see
specifics for positioning, and it's just less important than it was in that original game. So trying to
see. Okay.
Specialize stuff makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's cool. And again, some of the basic stuff that they were some of the bigger changes. Protoss Mothership Core has been removed, replaced with a shield battery to help for early game defense, which is super needed. That's really needed for them. Terran, the Raven, new abilities. Like I said, they have a repair drone now, which heals nearby mech units. The missile I was talking about does splash damage now and reduces the armor of units instead of just doing a bunch of damage. And the interference one or whatever prevents units from attacking and using abilities and whatever. We kind of went over that already. Zerg, the big one they're talking about, is the infestors getting changes, so fungal growth no longer roots enemies but greatly slows them, so it allows the enemies to not just be completely fucked, but they're still pretty fucked, I guess. Yeah, like I said, if you go to the StarCraft main page and blog, you can look at all the changes coming. There's numerous of them. And I'm not deep enough to care about most of them.
Yeah.
So if you are, you probably know what the changes are already because they announced them before BlizzCon even. But this is just more stuff that they're talking about. And new war chest is coming. 3 new army skins: Purifier Protoss, Primal Zerg, and Mira's Marauders, which makes sense with the Commander coming out, that there will be now the Marauder skin for Terran. Primal Zerg looks pretty much the way you would assume, just a weird primal looking version of the Zerg. What do you want? And Purifier Protoss I wasn't able to find a good picture of, which I'm not really sure what that means. I'm guessing they just glow more blue than before, because what else would that be, right? Like if I look up an image search here. Oh, weird. They're like more white or something?
They're more silver because the purifiers are like the robot Protoss.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool.
I was trying
there
to,
you go.
I couldn't place it, but yeah, the
So
purifiers were like the robots.
They're actually less blue then. It's the exact opposite of what I assumed they would be. Okay, cool. I think that'll do it for StarCraft. What do you think about the whole free-to-play thing? Is it going to bring StarCraft 2 back into the mainstream, or is it just kind of a dying breath sort of move?
I mean, hopefully it should be. I mean, theoretically, it would boost the player base.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I own StarCraft 2, and I don't play the multiplayer, so this doesn't change anything for me.
For
like,
you
I bought all
specifically.
those games, and so, and I mean, anyone who's, if there's someone who's super dying for StarCraft and hasn't been able to buy it for whatever reason, I guess this is cool.
It's really cool for them. I think it's more cool for like
I feel like
people
globally,
you that are into
it's kind of a big deal.
Globally, sure. I think it's better for people like you that are super into it and like have a friend that maybe didn't want to play it. Now there's kind of like
That's
no
true.
excuse,
Yeah.
right? Except the friend, if they didn't want to play it, then they're not going to want to all of a sudden because it's free.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
The co-op commander stuff being being able to try those seems super cool to me.
Yes,
Because like the idea of buying all those was like crazy to me for a mode that I could never get anyone to play anyway.
yeah. Like I will definitely try them for sure now that they're not associated with the tag.
Yeah, and it seemed that this seemed like the direction they were going to go with the $15 mark on story content after the Nova Core stuff they did last year.
Right. Also, I guess I forgot to mention there's 3 issues of StarCraft Shadow Wars or whatever comic coming.
I have no idea what that is.
Me
I
neither.
assume it's comics set in StarCraft. I don't know who it's about though.
Yeah, you know what sucks? Reading comics that are a PDF file. So moving on. It does. It just does.
You can put them on a tablet. That's fine.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so next up we're going to do some Hearthstone, and Hearthstone had... Now we should have audio. Okay. Awesome. Good job, Hearthstone. So yeah, Hearthstone, nothing too new going on there. They wanted to add more cards, and when you add more cards, you have to give a reason. So that reason is another expansion. So they added another expansion. New Hearthstone expansion, Kobolds and Catacombs. So kind of cool, I guess. Kind of a cool aesthetic. Obviously going for the D&D kind of like satire, parody sort of thing. And with that comes actually a new game mode that I'm kind of excited for, to be honest with you, called Dungeon Runs.
This actually sounds dope.
Yeah, this is really cool. So Dungeon Runs are going to be a new game mode introduced, which are kind of like a roguelike mode where you... Okay, so it's a single-player experience where you are given a hero and a deck of 10 cards, and you have to use those cards to go through 8 encounters to like dive into the dungeon, right? You're dungeon crawling. And after every major encounter, you're given kind of like what in Binding of Isaac would be like an item room with like a choice between cards to add to your deck to continue on. So that's where the roguelike portion comes in. Also that when you die, your adventure is over and then you have to start from the very beginning. But
this is actually dope. I will play this.
This is what
Someone who's been done with Hearthstone. I will play this.
I'm super looking forward to it as well. Apparently, by completing this, you'll get the Candle King card back, which is fine. Sure, why not?
Ooh, more card backs.
More importantly, I really like that they're trying some new stuff out. This is the type of stuff I expect from Blizzard, to be honest with you. Where it's like, they take a game mode, they streamline it, then they try weird shit with it, and I'm down. I'm so down for it. Apparently, this is also going to be a thing that, like, you don't need any card decks to play. You could just install the game for free because it's a free game. And then, like, as long as you have this expansion, you'll get the dungeon run type stuff. And then they'll just give you random cards. Like, they're randomly generated.
Because my favorite thing to do in Hearthstone, honestly, was the arena. I just got tired of doing my daily quests to grind out the gold for it.
Yep.
I just got tired of it.
And this is
that's
like
the kind of thing I like.
This is
Getting
a
a random
PvE
deck
arena.
and just doing it. Yeah, that sounds dope. That's like actually that's a thing I like.
It's super good. It's like actually very exciting for me. So what else are they going to add? They're going to add legendary weapon cards for all classes, which is kind of cool. The first one has been revealed is the Dragon Soul, which is a 3-mana 0/3, and its text or whatever is after you cast 3 spells in a turn, you summon a 5/5 dragon, which sounds real scary.
It sounds like a fun thing to build your deck around.
It sounds like a fun way to actually get you to be a caster, like to actually focus on spells instead of just minions, because spells are good for control, but they're kind of bad for taking a game, to be honest with you. So
yeah.
So that's cool. That'll give you a little balance there. New keyword was added, and the keywords for anybody who's not like completely in are the bold words that have an effect on cards, and the new keyword is recruit. So what this does is summons a random minion from your deck, and only cards associated with the adventurer characters will have it. Only adventurer characters can recruit, and sometimes the recruit stuff will come with limitations such as mana cost or whatever. So an example would be like recruit a 1 mana whatever. So yeah. But yeah,
that makes sense. The random stuff is always like Hearthstone's big thing they can always draw on. Any random effects.
And that's why people hate it as an esport. Like why people hate that they're actually trying to push it as an esport, but it's whatever. It's whatever, honestly. 135 new cards coming. So somebody was saying that the average every expansion that you would need to spend to like ensure that you get all the new cards is generally $250 or something from blind boxes. So nothing changes there, apparently.
Jesus.
Have fun spending $250 or like 1,000 hours, maybe. I don't know what it would cost to do that.
I mean, theoretically, you don't need every card.
You don't, because you can create cards as well.
Yeah,
right?
You just need a lot. And you need the specific ones you want, and you can't get those because you need blind boxes, so you might need to get all of them. I don't know.
Exactly. A new adventure card was shown called Marin the Fox, an 8-mana 6/6. The battle cry of summon a 0/8 chest for your opponent. So what it'll do is when you play it, a loot chest will appear on their side, so it takes up a spot of theirs. And then when you destroy it, you will get some loot from it into your deck, and that loot is randomized between a possible 4 different things. Zerog's Crown, which is discover a legendary minion, summon 2 copies of it, which is pretty dope. Wondrous Wand, which is draw 3 cards, reduce their cost to 0, which is very good as well. Tolan's Goblet, which is draw a card, fill your hand with copies of it, which is super good. But the Golden Kobold is where it's at. That's what you're trying to go for. And that'll give you a 3-mana 6/6 with a taunt and the battle cry of replace your hand with legendary minion. Because that sounds stupid as hell. So, there you go.
I mean, all I'm thinking about is an asshole deck that is all focused on filling up your opponent's field with garbage so they can't play creatures.
Yep.
But
and then when you break some of that garbage, you get super overpowered. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
So stupid. Yeah, so the big thing about Marin the Fox, though, is that you'll get it free by just logging in from November 6th until the expansion launches. So starting, I guess that's tomorrow, technically, right? Yeah, starting tomorrow from when we're recording this on November 6th. If you just load in to Hearthstone, you will automatically get Marin the Fox. If you do not, by the time that the expansion launches, it will be granted to you the first time you acquire a Kobolds and Catacombs card pack for free. So, and they usually just give you a card pack when there's a new expansion anyway to like entice you. So they'll probably just give it to you then, honestly. Now that I think about it a little bit more, that's probably when you'll get it. And yeah, I guess the big thing about this is that it's out in December, which is a month away, and I'm super, super excited to just do the dungeon run stuff. That sounds real cool to me.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
Yep.
That sounds fun.
PvE arena, like, I'm so fucking in. I'm so in. Yeah, I guess there's not really much more to talk about with Hearthstone, because, go figure, they wanted more money, so they added a bunch more stuff you can spend money on. Go figure.
Yep. I mean, the dungeon run thing's also just dope because I liked the PvE stuff, but I didn't play the game enough to grind the gold to get it that way, and I didn't quite like them enough to buy them for the price.
Sure.
But like a repeatable thing, that sounds dope. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Repeatable and random effects. Oh man.
The way they could have ruined that easily is by making their like 100 gold buy-in or something.
Yep.
Then it's over. Then it's ruined. We're not 100% sure they won't, to be honest. So let's find out.
That's fair.
Yeah, let's find out. Maybe that's what they mean by free, because you can earn gold. So now I'm worried, actually. I was so excited, and now I'm worried. We'll have to see. That's just speculation. I just don't trust anything companies say, ever. So we're going to head into
roguelike that you have to pay every time you want to do a run.
That sounds like something Blizzard would try.
I mean, it sounds like an arcade game.
Yeah. No, that's true. We're going to head into your domain now, though, and talk about heroes.
All right.
Let's do some Heroes of the Storm talk, because there's actually a lot of info I have on Heroes. You're not ready yet? Okay, you got to take a sip. That's fine. So Heroes of the Storm, let's start with... I'm going to start with just some basic technical things they're doing, then we'll talk about the heroes, because that's what people go to a game called Heroes of the Storm for.
Nah, man, I'm here for these minor adjustments to the game. That's what I'm here for.
Some of these adjustments sound pretty good. So one of them is that they're going to be introducing a new type of MMR called performance-based matchmaking.
Yeah.
So what this is instead of just tracking your win-loss ratio and pitting you against other people with that sort of thing, it's going to be tracking your performance and decision-making with the specific heroes you play. So if you're doing support things with a support hero and you are making decent decisions and not dying much, you will be getting more of this performance-based matchmaking, in theory, MMR, than like a dude playing a support jumping into the middle of a fight and dying. Which makes sense. Like
if you were AFK the whole game and didn't ever do anything,
right?
But your team somehow won without you, you don't get a win and progress or whatever.
Go figure. They're actually trying to make it so where, like, if you know how to play your dude, you're probably better than a dude who doesn't know how to play your dude.
I mean, I hear people complain about wanting this kind of thing all the time. I wonder how it will end up working. I'm just like concerned about people min-maxing it and doing weird shit that's just getting like your numbers up. That's not necessarily helpful. Although in HOTS, generally, if you're getting your numbers up, you're
You're
being
being
helpful.
helpful.
Like you're
Yep.
doing stuff.
Yep.
Like it's kind of a good game for that kind of thing. And I assume it's going to work like the similar way to the MVP screen information they give you, like taking merc camps and stuff.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
whatever.
Like as a
And like
tactician,
your total
buildings.
damage, your healing,
Yep.
which is only tracked on healers, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I
Even
think
though I
it's a good
once got
change.
top healing on Stitches,
That's stupid.
even though his healing isn't tracked in the game, like, it doesn't show you his healing number. But at the end of the game,
That's
I got top healer.
So stupid.
I was just eating a cho'gall the whole game,
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
just gnawing on him.
I think this is good. I think this is a good change, and as long as it's implemented properly, because it could be real bad as well.
I'm really curious how it's gonna work, and if it works well, that'll be dope because I play ranked TOTS and enjoy it, so
Yeah.
that'll be cool.
Yeah, and then I think the thing I'm a little bit worried about is, let's say, for example, like you play Illidan a decent amount or whatever, right? Like,
Well, I actually don't anymore, but I used to.
what happens to your MMR the minute you stop playing Illidan? Does it just like stay very high even though like you've never played an Uther in your life or something? Do you know what I mean? Where it's like you're being you pick this character or whatever, now you're matched with a bunch of dudes who are pros in their thing, but like you're not.
Yeah, the weird part to me is like you don't pick your role going in; you're picking it during a draft.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm worried
Like,
about.
do you have one overall MMR? Do you have?
It must be. It must be an overall MMR just based on you being able to play to the strengths of the heroes, I guess.
So that that could be true. Yeah, I guess I'll have to see. Like, there's not enough information. Like, if the game's taking into account like how much you played heroes, and if you're playing something you're not used to, it'll just adjust it less either way. That could be a way to solve that problem. Like if you're a support player and you're playing like an assassin character all of a sudden because you had to, if the game's like, nah, it's okay. Or if people are just like force their role because they're like, no, this is what I know to do. This is how I know my numbers will be good.
I wonder if it just takes into consideration the idea that like the reason why you have a higher MMR is because you know better on how this game works, like from a technical standpoint, where as you play support, you play this way. When you play an attacker, you play this way. Like,
and if it's performance based, like I wonder how much winning will matter as much as just
because in theory it should
playing your role
still,
well. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Theoretically,
Like,
theoretically, your goal is to win.
theoretically,
your goal isn't just to like pump out as much healing as possible. Your reason is to pump out healing because that'll help you win. But
and like theoretically, at a higher MMR, it would only be based on wins and losses because the idea is that you're all performed at the same level. So you winning is showing that you performed better. So like in a way, it evens itself out.
At high level, this makes more sense to me because the way most of this kind of change to MMR stuff gets determined is by the highest players. And sometimes the highest players get put in games with people who are lower rank, and that sucks. So if it's just wins and losses and you're losing that game, that sucks. So if you're still doing your performance base because you're the highest MMR, maybe that idea makes sense to me that's the way they'd want to go.
Sure.
But that seems hard. That seems like a lot of work, and I hope they do it well.
Yep. They're doing changes to the early game laning stuff. The big thing about this is that minion damage is increasing, for one thing. So if their idea is that when you're in a 1v1 or 2v2 lane sort of setup, they want that to feel like, they don't want it to be where if you die, like if you fuck up and you get killed by the other team, it really sets your team back, kind of like how it could in League and Dota. They don't want that, but they do want it to feel like there's more of a reason to not. So the big way they're doing that is by like making minions more scary, essentially, but when you're too close in on them and they attack you, or if you're not there to counter them, they'll like destroy buildings a little quicker. stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I mean the other things they changed are towers don't run out of ammo.
Yeah,
So
which is huge.
So you can't win your lane just by like attrition,
Right.
just by like forcing creeps in a little bit over and over again without them really having an impact. And they made it so health globes can now be grabbed by either team. So if you're winning your lane and you're forcing another player back, you're getting a little bit of extra advantage. You're maintaining your sustain better.
You're essentially last hitting or denying, but by picking up a globe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, basically.
It's weird,
but it restores health and mana, so your ability to sustain is better. So you don't get punished for winning your lane and then having to hearth.
Right. Yeah.
Because there isn't like a good other way to recover that stuff. So it's like incentivizing you to do shit.
Yep. Which is cool. Like that's pretty good. Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is I kind of like the attrition thing because it makes games still stay like fast. Like it helps like balance things out, so I'm a little bit worried about the ammo thing a little bit, but worst comes to worst, they'll just change it anyway. It doesn't matter. No big deal. It sounds cool though. I'm excited to try that actually. Make the laning process seem a little more like important because it's never important in this game.
Yeah, I mean the thing is it's so often in games it's unless one team's really better than the other and like dicks on someone, it's just pretty even. So ways to just, if you're just a little better, to really get your advantage so you can sort of build an advantage, because it's so hard, because like the way advantage moves in that game is pretty slow in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure. There's changes to stealth coming. And this is kind of huge for what it possibly means for stealth. So one of the big things they're doing is they're changing the way stealth looks in general. It's going to be more noticeable now. Like a more noticeable shader, they say, which just means that it's still going to be stealth, but instead of like completely zoning into the background and just kind of looking like a streak every now and then, I think there's going to be like the Nexus hexagon effect and stuff. Like it's gonna look a little more apparent that there's a dude and not just wavy lines on a background now. And the reason they're doing this is they want to make it so that, I think the end game is going to be, they want to make it so other characters can go stealth, like as an option. And to do that, they have to make characters that use stealth as their main strength, as not their main strength, but like an additional thing that they do. So, like, the idea is that Nova, when she's not stealth, sucks ass. So they want to make it so that she's more of, like, a glass cannon that can use stealth. And not just, like, can't exist without stealth sort of thing. So, there's specific changes they're making. I'll quickly go through. Nova specifically, Snipe Master baseline changes. She's going to have increased damage as she snipes. Like stacking infinitely until she misses, I guess, so she can like become scary if you're good with her. Sorry, were you gonna add
changes? I think is they making Snipe Master is a quest she has. Are they making that just inherently part of her character? I guess
that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So they've done that a lot with talents that are just like become sort of mandatory on characters. They'll eventually just work them in, and then to give people more interesting choices.
Right.
So that's a similar thing. And Snipe Master is just one. It's not always the best, but it's the most fun.
Yeah.
So
that's just a thing
good.
Now.
It just makes the character more fun.
She's gonna gain 15% movement speed and stealth, and she's able to instantly activate it now as an ability.
That's big.
Yeah.
That makes, with stealth being worse, that makes a little more sense. It also puts her more on par with Valera, they already created a character that can do that.
Yep. So speaking of Valera, her Garrote Silence duration has been increased, her opener. Her Cheap's Shot stun duration was decreased, but a blind effect was added. I apparently also lose being able to spell when I have to type real fast while people are talking.
The stun duration is good because, like, I mean, a thing that happens with Valera teams is like you'll have a Valera and a Varian and just try to chain stun.
Yeah.
So decreasing that a little bit is is good. Give people a chance to use an escape move or something.
And if she remains stealth for 3 seconds or over, the next vanish will have increased range and can teleport directly behind a target, so she feels like a rogue that way, which is...
Or like Zeratul has an ability to jump to people.
Yep.
So that's also just a little more parity.
Yep.
Kind of thing. And I mean, you have to buff these characters if stealth is going to be... If you're going to be easier to see them, they have to be able to do a little more, because they're...
Yep.
The chances of them doing it is less.
For Samuro... so the detail of Illusion Master level 10 is now just part of his trait, which is swapping between your illusions. You can just push D right from the get-go now to like do that, which was part of his level 10 super.
That's super interesting, because that's like a way where good Samuros just never die.
Yep. Yep.
That's part of bases is kind of crazy. But again, it's like one everyone would take anyway.
And then to build on this a little bit, mirror image no longer is random. It'll spawn closest to your mouse cursor. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Like, they're making him more tactically hard to use, like anyway. But like, the payoff is going to be huge, basically.
Okay, and then with the last one here, less damage from illusions.
Yeah,
and then more damage from his hero. Also, it makes sense why.
Because his illusions were the only way he actually did decent damage. So he's going to be doing the same amount of damage, but you have to be there now. Like, you can't just leave your illusions do all the work for you.
That's good.
Yep. And
make you shit.
Zeratul, I have Vorpal Blade is now the baseline for all players. So that's just his thing now. That's just his baseline.
Yeah, that's his I think that's his teleport thing. I don't remember. I think that's what it is. I think that's his teleport to people like Valera.
Is it? Isn't it just his third attack is always a crit or something? Or which one is out? I can't remember. We could look it up in a second. But more importantly, his Shadow Assault has been replaced with a new heroic, because nobody ever fucking chose Shadow Assault because it's garbage, basically.
Vorpal Blade is the thing where he can teleport directly to the last thing he attacked.
Oh, the last thing he attacked. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So which is similar to the thing they built into the Valera Vanish.
Right. So that's just the baseline now, though.
Yeah, it was a talent everybody took. So
yeah. Shadow Assault was garbage. It basically just made him like go into Berserk Rage, essentially. Like, it was stupid. So that's gone. And now his new heroic, Might of the Nerazim, is a 15-second cooldown, which will reactivate the last used ability, and that's all we know about it so far. We don't know if there's like talents or whatever to increase what that does yet, but should be interesting, I suppose.
Get another blink. More blinking.
More blinking. So new camera is being added, which, sure, it's fine.
Yeah, they're zooming it out so that you can see more of the field.
Yeah.
Basically. Which is like one of those things of like, the reason it was zoomed in was so you could see the skins, so people would buy the skins.
Totally.
But like, as a competitive game, it makes
but don't worry. It zooms in and out. Zoomed out? Okay. So don't worry. You can still see the skins if you want to.
Yeah. Exactly. But like, I mean, the way they show that game on streams and stuff is with a zoomed out camera. Like, it just makes more sense to be able to see more of the field.
So I'm pretty sure they're just making the spectator mode that they use for those events.
Yeah. And also standard. for people that use the set camera on your character.
Yeah.
Which is like, for people who are newer at MOBAs, just it gives them more information. So it's like it's also a little newbie friendly.
Sure. Also, they're adding voice chat, which I'm pretty sure is actually just a thing that they're adding across Battle.net client completely, and games are just taking advantage of it, because when we talk about WoW, that's one of the things they're adding to that as well. So like,
okay.
I'm pretty sure that this is just a way that they're increasing their game's social tab on their like client, And I'm pretty sure it'll all just be based through that, honestly. I hope so, because I don't want to talk to fucking people while I'm playing a MOBA. Like, I'm sick of people's bullshit. If I want to talk to people, I'll play with people that I know, and we'll play ranked.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise...
Yeah,
pings.
like, I mean, honestly...
Like, learn how to use pings.
I would say disable voice chat. Like, flat baseline, disable it, unless... But for high-level ranked... having voice chat with random people, it would be useful. They haven't had it. It like just doesn't exist in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there are more advanced things you could theoretically do, but for baseline HOTS, you don't need it. You don't need text chat. Like the pings are everything you need.
Yep.
Chat is just there for people to curse at you.
Also, on that note, talking about Dota for a second here, they
stole the ping wheel.
They installed a ping wheel, which is...
It's such a good idea. When I played Dota after playing HOTS and not having that thing was such a bummer to me. It's a good thing. MOBA should have that.
Yep.
I mean, Dota also copied the talent tree. Basically, they added it in. So
yeah,
it's not the first time.
Exactly. I thought for a second that we were done talking about HOTS, but nope, we have the heroes to talk about, which is like...
Heroes!
They announced two new heroes.
New characters. Weird.
The Dragon Sisters, basically. Alright.
Sisters. Freaking Hanzo.
I know what I said. Hanzo. I stand by it. So yeah, they announced two new heroes. Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder Dragon from WoW, and Hanzo from Overwatch. So yeah, that's all we have to say about heroes. We'll go into them. We'll start with Alexstrasza, I guess, mainly because she's the first one on the list here. She is going to be a ranged support. So what this entails is that she has three primary abilities: Gift of Life, which is sacrifice 50% of her health, healing an ally for 150% of that amount, which is weird. It's like, here, take my life. It's so odd. It makes sense, I guess, for balancing issues, but whatever. Apparently, when this is used... So her trait is called Dragon Queen, and I'll get to that in a second, but when this is used in Dragon Queen, her Breath of Life cooldown is greatly reduced and does not cost health. So, that's cool.
So that's big.
That's like the reason why.
Yeah, not costing health when your trait is active is like... That makes sense. That's like a mechanic to play around.
Yep. Her second ability is called Abundance. So what she does is plants a seed of healing that blooms after 3 seconds, healing nearby allied heroes for 20% of their maximum health. She is a percentage-based healer, which is super cool. Yeah.
That's good, because like there are a lot of healers that are just not great at healing tanks. They're much better at healing other units. And also having multiple heals is a big thing, because there are a lot of healers where they just have one ability to heal and it's not enough in this game. Yep.
And when her trait is active, preservation heal area and amount is greatly increased, so that heal is much stronger. So what this is for people that have played the game before, is kind of like, think the bombs or whatever that Gazlo puts down, where there's like a timer and then it explodes into damage. It's the exact inverse of that. It explodes into healing for any people in the area. So that'll be really good for like controlling points and stuff like that. Not so good for laning, honestly, but that's fine. She has the other, like, she has Gift of Life for that, so
she has a direct cast heal as well.
Yep. And her third primary ability is called Flame Buffet. So she launches a fireball, burning enemies that are hit with it for 75 damage over 5.5 seconds. So it's a damage over time spell. And hitting enemies that are already burning deals 125 bonus damage upon impact, slows them by 40% over 2 seconds, and refunds the mana cost. So basically, you want to keep that fire going. Kind of like how it worked in WoW. Flame Buffet is stronger the more times it hits, sort of thing. And yeah, it turns in from a dot to like pretty substantial nuke and disable, which is fucking hilarious to me and sounds overpowered, but I'm sure it's hard to pull off. Like, I'm sure it's a skill shot. So
again, and like Lieutenant Morales has her grenade, which has knockback on it, as like a positioning thing.
Sure. If her trait is active, Dragon Queen, wing buffet damage and knock back enemies in an arc. So yeah, that's cool.
Which again, that sounds like Morales's grenade on that in that case.
So I'll talk about her hero trait, I guess, now a little bit. Her hero trait is called Dragon Queen. It's on the D key, as all of them are. After 1.25 seconds, I got this obviously specifically from their thing, because who would ever say 1.25? But after 1.25 seconds, transform into a dragon and gain 500 health. While it's active, the abilities are empowered, as we just talked about. Basic attacks deal 143 damage and heal allied heroes for 43 in an arc in front of her. So she does that. She heals while damaging with her basic attacks. Additionally, the duration of stuns, roots, slows, any CC of any kind is reduced by half, and it lasts for 15 seconds at a time. So
yeah, the other big thing I'm realizing now about Gift of Life is that it's it's sacrificing 15% of your current health, not like your total. So as you have more health, and as long as you're getting the boost from the 500, it's like you're healing for more too. So you wanna be staying high so that health boost is more, which is interesting.
Tell me, man, I always want to be high. So high.
You want those big heals, man. You don't want those baby heals.
You want those big hits. I get it. Gotta be high.
People just die.
Yeah,
people
exactly.
Just die. You throw babies at them, people just die. It's not enough. It's not enough protection.
It's true. Let's talk about her heroic abilities, or her ultimates, or whatever you want to call them. Yeah. So her first one is called Lifebinder. So what this does is it binds her life force to an allied hero. After 2 seconds, the hero with the lower percentage of the health is set to the same health as the other hero. So in theory, what you would want to do, you could use this to save yourself if you are like near a tank with a whole lot of health or whatever. You could set this on them and then like get yourself out of a bind if you're in a shitty position. More times than not, though, being the backline, you'll probably like throw this on probably a squishy dude, I would assume, to just like go completely buck wild on some jabroni ass and then just get healed right away from it. So
yeah, and this is on par with abilities like Ancestral Healing, which is Rhaegar's thing, which is a heal that it has a little bit. You have to like wait for it, and then it goes off.
Yeah.
So and Dahaka's alt adaptation, where he heals back an amount of damage he took over that time.
Yep.
It's like these kind of heals that are like based, and Karazim's Divine Life, where if you would die, you get healed. Just these kind of heals that are like, they're not immediate big heals, but like they're situational. You have to play around them.
Heals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Oh, thank God, he's fine.
They're stressful. Make your hero's life
a little shorter.
Not the most fun.
Yeah.
It's a little stressful.
Yep.
That stuff's fun.
The second heroic ability is called Cleansing Flame. After 1.25 seconds, again, take to the sky, drop 5 fireballs over 6 seconds at positions of the mouse cursor. Fireballs deal 150 damage to enemies and heal heroes for 300 health. 2 seconds after dropping all the fireballs, she lands back in the position of the mouse cursor. So you could perform a pretty good assault, depending, or you do some real good healing in that time. So yeah,
that one seems more fun. It seems like you just want to have fun, have a good time. I'm just gonna sky bomb all of you.
I'm just gonna fly and then heal. Yeah, it's
like, you could be stressed. You could be stressed out, or you could just say, fuck it.
I mean, I agree. It's the way to go. I think that one. So that's the one I would be choosing. I'll just wait and see which one ends up being more effective, but that one certainly seems less stressful. Oh, for sure.
The damage on supports is always fun. It's always fun where you can find getting it where you can find it.
Yeah. I think heroes in general feels like that's an important thing to them too, to be honest. Like they want
Yeah,
supports to not
I mean
feel weak ever.
the whole point of the talent tree is also like giving you abilities to do different stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not sometimes it's about like fine tuning, like if you want health or damage or armor or something dumb, but a lot of times it's about you're gonna heal more, you're gonna deal more damage, or you're gonna be survivable, or you're gonna do more stuff like that. Those kind of choices are cool, and even in Dota's skill tree, those are the ones that are the most fun and make the most sense to me.
Yep. I wholeheartedly agree. Okay, let's move on to the other hero, Hanzo. So Hanzo from Overwatch, go figure, he is a ranged assassin.
What?
Right? Yeah.
What? I mean,
And
they kind of fucked up Junkrat. Junkrat's honestly more of a specialist in the way he gets played, and they made him a ranged assassin. Kind of
okay, fair
annoyed
enough.
about.
Well, looking at the deep dive for heroes, he is in fact a ranged assassin. He plays very much the way you think he probably plays if you played Overwatch. His hero trait is natural agility. So if there's shit in your way, he'll jump over it. Is his thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's
Totally.
his climb wall thing.
Yep, that's total. I mean, it's honestly Illidan's jump is what it is because it's like the same animation almost. But yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. Why don't fix what's not broken is what I always say. So I'm okay with it. His primary abilities. His first one is Stormbow. Activate a charge shot arrow that deals 270 damage to the first enemy hit, and range increases the longer its channel reactivated fire. This is basically just a skill shot that you hold, the meter goes longer to show that the power is increasing and like the range, and then you let go of it. It's if you play Dota or whatever, it's like Wind Ranger's shot or whatever, I can't remember the name of. If you played League, it's Ash's shot that does the exact same thing. It's the basic archer shot everybody knows when they play a MOBA, honestly.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of similar to Gazlo's lightning thing that he charges up.
Yep.
It's not getting the area thing.
You're right. It's actually very similar to that too. His second ability is Scatter Arrow. So you fire a single arrow that when it hits an object, it splits off into I think 5 arrows that collide with, or that will like damage anything they collide with. So the idea for this one is doing bank shots all the time into like a group of dudes. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Again, exactly what you would think.
You need some single target. You need some AoE.
Yep.
Like it.
Oh, like are you just saying what you need to make Hanzo
To like do
basically?
things. Honestly, just to do things in a MOBA. So like these seem good. Like having your AoE ability and your single target ability. Like,
yep,
those are things you need to do.
Yep, for sure. And his third ability is Sonic Arrow. So you fire an arrow that grants vision in a large area for 8 seconds. Enemies inside are revealed for 1 second, and if the Sonic Arrow lands directly on an enemy, it deals 150 damage and follows them. So it sticks in them.
A good anti-stealth. Get fucked stealthies.
Yep, pretty much. It's
good to have some more anti-stealth units, although stealth is so much worse, so I don't even know how much
I think
better
that's probably why.
I feel like this ability is immediately nerfed because stealth it's just stealth in general is nerfed, so.
Yep. So I guess the big one with Sonic Arrow is seeing it played with a little bit. It like can be cast your whole screen size away. Like you can cast it basically all the way to the edge of your vision with the current camera, which is pretty huge. So,
and I mean the big thing, it seemed like the skill shot of landing on people seems big. Like that's a big skill ceiling of being able to land it.
Yep. But it pays off pretty grand when it's like a decent sized nuke and stays on them, so it just reveals all their like allies in that area if they're running away. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's a good
vision's important.
It's super important because the only way you can get is through shit like this in this game. You can't do the the fucking vision totems and shit like that.
Oh, you can't put down boards.
Yeah, the wards,
I
exactly.
mean, there are a couple of characters that have observers. Actually,
Yeah, but
like
they're an
Mal has
ability.
observers.
That's the only way
Yeah.
you get vision in this game is through abilities. So
They're a specific talent on a specific hero.
yeah, okay, fair enough. His heroic abilities, he has Dragon Strike, which, if you've played Overwatch, you know Hanzo's ultimate. This is it. After 1.5 seconds, you summon a pair of spirit dragons, which travel forward, dealing 52 damage every 0.25 seconds to enemy heroes in the area. Enemies in the center of it take 150% damage. So,
Yeah, I mean, compared to Overwatch, they move hilariously slow.
yep. Well,
But,
makes sense, obviously.
But they move faster than like
It's a zone
Rainer's
control
ult, I
ability,
think.
honestly.
Yeah, it reminded me of Rainer's
Yep.
thing. It's a little different. It's
Yep.
not exactly the same.
It's all just about zone control, less so than damage, but if somebody's stupid enough to stick around, it will melt them, for sure.
It's just to help pushing.
Yep.
Like if you're going in as 5 and just drop that out and get them
Yep.
out of the way.
For sure. His second heroic ability, these are the ones that are always interesting to me for the Overwatch characters, because we know what their ult is going to be, but then, like, what's their secondary one going to be? So, Hanzo's is Dragon's Arrow. Fire a missile that travels across the battleground, explode upon hitting an enemy hero, dealing 100 damage to all nearby enemies and stunning them for 0.5 seconds. After traveling a medium distance, the damage is increased to 200 and stun duration to 1.25 seconds. After traveling a long distance, damage is increased to 350 and stun duration to 2 seconds. So, what I'm picturing
This one seems
is
fun.
you're pushing into their base, right? You die as Hanzo. You respawn and you fire that fucker across the map in there, basically, to help your team with that push.
Or you like split push and you're just on your own and then fire it over or something.
This one actually seems funner to
split
me.
Push hero.
Yeah.
This one seems super fun. It reminds me of stuff like just Kel'Thuzad, who came out recently, has an ult that you can just cast it anywhere on the map, and stuff like Hammer's ult, where they can travel across the whole map. The abilities are just fun, and it's like just like big and crazy.
Yep, for sure.
It always also like Anya has like a snipe ability that she sets up and then can fire all over the map. Like they do seem to be like that idea of giving you an ult that's like gives you some global presence. Global presence is such a huge thing in Hearthstone. Just given, if you're not going to give everyone can't. You don't just want to give everyone an ability to get anywhere, but an ability to like interrupt a capture point or something. Like if they're on Towers of Doom capturing a thing and just being able to like fuck with them for a second is such a strategically useful thing and fun.
For sure. I think that's it for new stuff that's coming from that team. What do you think of these changes and the heroes?
The heroes seem cool. Like I'm always down for no heroes. I don't know that either of these are seem like ones that are gonna like immediately become one of my favorites, but they seem cool.
Sure.
They seem like ones I'll definitely. I mean, I play every hero, so
yeah. So you'll try them at least once. Yeah,
I will play them to at least 5 is what I will do. Okay. That is my minimum. Okay. The thing that I most want from HOTS, though, I'm bummed didn't happen, which is they need to fix their replay system. They
Do you
need
think
to
that
fix
might
it.
come with the camera update? Like maybe that's just something they're not saying as a specific side
It might
point.
be part of it, but it's a huge. It's like built into the game.
Yeah,
but I'm just they need to. It needs to be faster because if you want to and because it's tied into players' abilities to reconnect to matches, which takes too long. Like you get into the match and then you're sitting around waiting because the way the code of the game works is like stepping, and that's like huge. I'm sure they haven't fixed it because it's like built into the game.
Sure,
at a core level, but that's the thing I most want to see fixed out of anything. That's like the biggest change I want. The laning stuff is super cool to me though. Like making that part of the game more interesting, being able to win more, getting globes sounds so fun. That sounds like it's like a way I'm going to play that game. Is just trying to forcing out my opponent and getting globes. That sounds dope. Like having a reason to really control the lane.
For sure.
And being able to control it better when you control it. That's all great. So great.
Yep. Sounds good. Let's move on to Overwatch, which I admittedly had to get set up just now because I forgot that game exists. So I didn't have it ready in my stream plan here. But that's fine. That's fine.
Overwatch, just a little game. Nobody plays it. It's
the
not
weird
super
thing
popular or
is
anything.
that I took a bunch of notes for it. So, like, I obviously watched the stuff on it. I just didn't have it ready to go for the stream. So, okay, so for Overwatch, no big game changes were announced because that game is exactly where they want it to be, honestly. It's making money, has people interested in it, it's doing the esports thing. I guess the big thing this year is the whole world, like, Overwatch League or whatever was, like, going on, or they're doing more stuff with that behind the scenes, and that's cool, I guess. Team Canada, woo. I don't know.
I think that esports thing is super good. If I cared about Overwatch esports at all,
Yep.
it would be more into it. But like the way they're doing it, super good. They do this with HOTS too, but the thing I really like is just that they have dedicated esports teams that they have on salary. I
Sure.
think that's super cool. That these players like just have a job for the year that they've earned their keep into or half a year or whatever that they've earned their keep into the league, and they can just concentrate on playing the game.
I mean, it's super important in general for the whole esports thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, yeah, no, all that stuff's good.
Also, to not have your teams named Samsung Galaxy.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that. I'm so mad. I hate that. Like, I understand why, because that company put a lot of money into it. So, whatever.
I mean, there's a HOTS on HOTS. We has a team called Roll20.
Is there really? There's a Roll20
Yeah,
team?
that Chew8's old team. They renamed themselves to Roll20. They're sponsored
Oh.
by Roll20.
I don't like that either.
I mean, I just find it 20 just because Roll20 is a cool thing.
Yeah, sure, but it's still exactly what I don't want.
Technically, they're called Roll20 Esports. They're not just called Roll20, but it's like they're not just Galaxy Cam. But again, people just say Roll20 all the time in the game. It's a thing.
I hate it.
It's what esports is.
Hopefully not for Overwatch. But
yeah, exactly.
So they announced just some gameplay additions, or not gameplay additions, content additions for the game. The big one for me is the new map called Blizzard World.
That map is amazing.
That map is actually what I want from Overwatch. I want it to be the stupid outlier that they can just play with, and what better way than to make the most masturbatory fucking map on planet Earth than, like, man.
Where's my HOTS map that's like all of Blizzard? Come on, guys.
I know.
This is the first time I'm like, because in a lot of ways I don't care because I just think the skins in HOTS are better than the skins in Overwatch.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But this map is fucking amazing.
Yeah, so this map...
This is a dumb, goofy idea. I love it.
The map is called Blizzard World, and what it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a theme park in the game that is all Blizzard-centric on all their games.
Yeah, because in the world of Overwatch, Blizzard games besides Overwatch exist.
Yes.
It's like Diva's a Starcraft player.
Yeah, that's true. And they are watching the thing for Blizzard World, the Overwatch crew, on the TV. And then Tracer gets excited because she's the fucking Bugs Bunny of Overwatch. So
it's true. That's what she
that
is.
makes sense. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of, like, weird little things in there that I could see from videos that were there's too many to call out, but I will say the information that's been given: attackers will spawn in the Hearthstone Tavern, defenders spawn in the Heroes of the Storm Arcade. It is a hybrid map, they're calling it, which is a ripoff of the Paladins payload mode, where you capture a point, spawn the payload, and then go. So they ripped off Paladins completely in that mode, which is fine because that was the good Paladins mode.
Yeah, I mean, give and take.
They'll do it better.
Give and take there.
Yep. Oh, for sure. The one thing I do have written down here about it, the best thing is that Snacks Ramus is the snack bar. That's
real fucking good.
Snacks Ramus is the best.
Snacks Ramus is the best thing. Shut it down. Blizzard, that's the top.
It won't ever be beaten, for sure.
I mean, unless they made the Snacks Ramus raid or something.
That would be interesting. Sure.
Make some serious Snacks Ramus content, guys. Come on.
Yep.
Just the name is great, but double fucking go all the way.
I think the big thing with this is that there's not a whole lot to harp on about this map. If you are a Blizzard fan, you should look up a video for this thing because it's hilarious. Like and
I'm just looking forward to getting into it and seeing all the little details that you're not gonna get till you're in the map.
Honestly, when that comes out, which is early 2018, they've said, is I'm just gonna go in there like with bots or something and actually just look around while the bots can fight each other. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, big representation for all your favorite Blizzard games. The big ones being Starcraft, Diablo, and Warcraft, obviously. The little nods to Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone are the fact that those are the spawning areas. A whole bunch of like inside jokes that we can see going on in there, and some really like cool themed areas that just make me wish that was a real place. Like, fuck, do I wish that was a real place? And it almost seems to me like maybe they will make that a real place at some point in time in their history. Because Disney just started off doing some cartoons as well. Why not? So, there you go. New hero was announced called Moira. And her whole thing is, first of all, she has the stupidest run ever. She does the Naruto arms behind her back as she's running forward thing, which I don't know if like they just thought, yeah, that's how cool people run, or if like
that's how cool people run. That's how Mario runs in Mario and Rabbids sometimes.
It looks bad there too. It looks bad
everywhere. I mean, it's in Naruto because that way you don't have to animate arms.
I know, but it looks bad in that too. Like the thing it's from, it looks bad in even. It just looks stupid.
Look, man, there are enough kids that have grown up with cartoons where people run like that they think it's cool.
I know. I guess I'm just not part of that generation.
You're too old.
I am. Man. I can feel it. Trust me. Every day of my life, I wake up and get out of bed and I feel it. So her whole thing is she is support and healing. I guess her backstory stuff is that she was recruited by Reyes, which we know as Reaper now, into Blackwatch back in the day, and now she's allied with Talon for the purposes of her research, and she's just very much into studying like where we came from and genetics and stuff like that, and life forces and blah blah blah. Her moveset focuses very much on the dichotomy of doing damage and healing with like life force. Basically, her main ability or whatever, her like fire, is called Biotic Grasp. And the weird thing is that depending on which hand you're using, like for the character, depends on what you do. So if you primary fire with a left click, you do regeneration, which heals multiple allies and decreases the like life force meter, essentially, right? And this like pierces through them. So if there's a lineup of your allies, you can just like shoot your goo all through them. But then if you use the alternate fire, you bring up the other hand, and that's your decay hand, right? So decay is the exact same thing, only it's purple. It does damage to enemies, and that fills your meter because you are taking their life force, essentially. Yeah.
I mean, it just makes me think of one hand for eating, one hand for ass wiping. You have your good hand and your dark hand.
Yep, that's essentially what it is. It's
also it's like a way to do a heal beam type thing that's not direct the heal beam because you already have that character and also have a damage version.
And obviously honestly, that's not overpowered because as you heal, you decrease the amount of like life force energy you get back to do more healing. So the idea is they want you to fluctuate between them. And this is a ripoff of a character from Paladins as well, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. But that's, again, it's totally fine because Paladins literally has Reinhardt in it, so it's fine.
Look, when you're doing these kind of games, that's what it's all about.
Overlap.
It's about taking the best ideas for yourself. That's what Dota All Stars was. It was taking all the Dotas, and smashing the best stuff together.
Totally.
It's how these genres get better.
The only reason I bring it up at all is because I feel like I'm the only person in the world who will.
That's fair.
Her E ability is a biotic orb, which has the exact same thing. Basically what this is, right, is that you bring both of your hands up when you push the button, and then if you use your primary fire, you throw the regeneration orb, and the regeneration orb like throws out of you like a projectile, and it'll go just wherever. It'll bounce against walls and stuff, so in a small room it'll just bounce everywhere, and it'll heal any allies that are nearby. And so it's an AoE heal because it heals all allies nearby, and it's the only way you can get like a ranged heal off, because your main heal is like a kind of melee range, like hand thing or whatever, hand beam. So this is like you would throw into like the fray if you're not in it or whatever to get the AoE heal off. It has a set amount of healing though. It won't just like last infinitely. When that healing is up, it'll disappear. So I guess that's the way they kind of balance that out. However, if you bring the biotic orbs up and you choose the decay hand, it's the exact same fucking thing, only for damage. You'll throw it, it'll do AoE damage to an area, and when that set amount of damage is done to whoever. So like I guess it could be strong, really strong against like 1 or 2 dudes, but like super weak if you throw it into a group of 5 or something, is probably how they balance that. So that's that's that, I guess. It's weird because apparently the skill ceiling from people that were playing her, like apparently she's weird to get used to. Like there's kind of like a curve in learning her because there's a lot of inputs on what you want to do. But after a while, I'm sure that's going to be totally fine.
And I mean, when you're adding characters to Overwatch, like it kind of only makes sense to me to add harder heroes, like just weirder, more interesting things.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you have your basics.
Yep. Her shift is a fade, which is basically like a mix of the Wraith form from Reaper with like a small like tracer jump, essentially. So you'll be running, right? Then if you push shift, you'll go into like a Wraith form, which will make you invisible to the enemies and speed up really quickly, so it looks like a teleport to them, but to you, you just like run really fast for a few meters or whatever. Yeah,
it looks like a blink, but you're actually traveling the distance.
It's weird because what it looks like isn't what it actually is. So you're still there, I'm guessing, but I guess maybe not necessarily if you're invincible. You're in a Wraith form doing that. And again, I think from what they said, the reason why it's a Wraith form sort of thing is they kind of want to tie it into the Reaper. Like there's obviously a tie between her and Reaper. And like the idea is that she's probably the one that did that to Reaper specifically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And her ultimate ability is called Coalescence, where it's just like you take both hands and you fucking Kamehameha that shit. That's actually what it is. You do healing to all allies and damage to all enemies in its path, and you do a giant like laser beam. The big thing about this is it pierces through barriers and shields. It'll go through Reinhardt's shield.
That's huge.
And
they need more. That's a hard balance. You theoretically, like I just want more stuff that damages that, but at a certain point, it's like then the shield isn't worth anything.
Then why have Reinhardt? Yeah.
Yeah. That it's an alt, I'm fine with.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Like honestly, I think his ult blocks too many. His shield blocks too many ults as it is. So.
Sure. Like
that, you can block Diva's ult with a fucking Reinhardt shield.
It's ridiculous. A nuke. Yeah.
Yeah.
They released another like origin type thing about Reinhardt. Speaking of him, and I thought that was real cool. I really like their character stuff, so I was touched. I liked it. It was good stuff. And Blizzard themed skins are coming. The meta is too real, I wrote. So, Orisa has an immortal skin, which makes her look like a Protoss. Was it a Protoss? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Protoss.
Yeah, the immortal is a Protoss unit.
Yeah. Magni, Torbjorn, which makes sense because dwarves, and it looks awesome. Honestly, the one that I'm surprised it took them this long to do is Nova Widowmaker, because they are literally the same fucking character basically. Only one goes invisible and one has a like little grappling hook.
It's fair play. I mean, they already did it. For Nova can become Widowmaker, so now Widowmaker can become Nova.
Yep.
Checks out. The math works out.
Blackhand
didn't know
Doomfist.
Overwatch was that cool. Honestly, I just didn't know Overwatch was cool enough to do it.
True. Blackhand Doomfist seems like the perfect fit, obviously. Doomfist, Blackhand. Sure. He looks cool, too. I actually thought he was Human Deathwing at first. Like Doomfist or something. Kind of the same type of art style. Barbarian Zarya is right. That's correct. Can you do Zarya Sonya in Heroes? Because that seems like something that probably would have existed by now. No, because Zarya's in the game.
Yeah, Zarya's her big hot skin is like this, where she's like Genji themed. She has like a fucking dragon cannon. It's fucking dope as shit.
Yeah. The Butcher Roadhog is super good. The Butcher Roadhog is real good.
I mean, that one is also just makes sense. That just makes sense.
For sure. Oh, like, I guess a little thing about Barbarian Zarya is her cannon that she's holding is actually the Barbarian's Rage Meter from Diablo, which is awesome.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And there's a ruby stuck in it, because why not? And then the two non-Blizzard themed skins that they showed were Crusader Reinhardt to go with the origin story type thing, and Eco Point May, which is her as a person working in the Eco Point or whatever. Yeah. Lore stuff, exactly. But that's it.
Lore. I just want more bullshit, other Blizzard shit in Overwatch. Give me that.
I want Blizzard World. That's it. That's all I want. Okay. Now we come. That's half of the show done. That's half of the podcast done.
First half done.
First half done.
If, like I think that was like the last time there was a WoW expansion. Like the first one of these we did. It was half of it was WoW.
So in case you couldn't tell, we're going to talk about World of Warcraft now.
World of Warcraft.
So, there's actually a lot to talk about, but I'm not super invested in a lot of this stuff in the way I was Legion, so it might actually not be that long, to be honest with you.
That's fair.
There are things I am invested in, though. And
Legion was... I like so many of those ideas, and I just burned out of that game on that game.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo because like Draenor was exactly what I wanted because it was so good up front, and then when I was tired of it, they stopped putting stuff out, so I didn't give a shit.
I know. Let's talk about the big one that people like freaked out about. World of Warcraft Classic is coming. You will be able to play the original.
Finally announced it.
You will be able to play that. That is a thing that we all knew was going to happen when they started taking down classic servers with these cease and desists, because Blizzard generally doesn't do cease and desist without a reason, honestly, for stuff. So yeah, people pretty much assumed they were doing their own version of it, and they are. I guess the big thing is that the thing they said that made me excited about this is that they want that vanilla experience without vanilla's like mechanics, because that stuff was garbage and they know that. So yeah.
The other big thing that I know was holding them back was just infrastructure stuff. Where to run vanilla WoW as it stood, they would have had to run a whole different server network for it,
right?
Because the code was just different. So they figured out how to run the part they figured out is running vanilla on their current servers, so they don't have to buy a whole lot of new infrastructure for it.
Right.
They're going to preserve the vanilla experience, but they are going to, they're on back end stuff is going to, they figured out how to redo that.
Right. So that's a big thing there. No other information's released. No time frame. When it's coming out. Nothing.
This seems like the state at which I would expect that like Diablo 2 HD is at, or whatever, that like we're working on it, but this has been such a hubbub. I feel like they felt like they needed to announce it, even if it's a ways off.
Also, they had other stuff to announce. Like if Diablo came on the stage and they only said we're working on it, they would have been booed probably off.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's not enough for a big stage thing.
Right.
It wasn't enough to earn them their slot.
Because I don't think
their space.
I don't think WoW talks like if this was last year that they started working on it. Even there's a reason why they don't talk about it. They didn't have a huge announcement last year, so
that's fair.
Yeah. So that's cool. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm especially in for like a change they're making later. But
again, like I wonder how bad I can't. The amount of time it would take to level up a character in vanilla WoW from 0 to 60 is a long time. Yeah. And I don't know that I have that. I mean, I might have that in me. I don't know that I have that in me.
The thing is that I would have it in me if I had a small group of people to do dungeons and stuff with regularly. That's the caveat. It's like we could all get together one night and get to level 20, but like...
Well, you wouldn't get to level 20 in vanilla in one night.
It depends how they do it. If they change,
it depends how they. Yeah,
they have
depends
to actually.
How much they're going to change. It also depends like how much they're going to change. If the leveling's way easier, then I'll definitely play probably more of it than I would otherwise. Just
I remember being excited, hitting level 10.
I mean, I played like every day. The big thing was there was a spurt where I like got back into WoW and vanilla like. The summer before Burning Crusade, and we had a group of people that I knew in real life, and we were on a vent chat, and we were playing every day. We got to like level 40 over the summer, over like 3 months, like playing it pretty addictively. Like that grind was hard.
Like level 10 for me was Elwyn Forest, like all of that stuff, 1 to 10, and that's like a full night's worth of content. It could be rough for sure. So we'll have to see what they do. I kind of hope they don't change that to the way it is because it's too easy now. So what's the point?
It's fair. Like I want what I want is a balance, I guess. Yeah. But I turned out I didn't want what Legion was either, which was a lot of grinding. But what I want is being able to burst grind. What I don't like is like having to grind every day for dailies for a long time. I like being able to play at my own pace. And when a game is requiring me to play at its pace, that's when I lose interest.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. So yeah, that's coming. More information to be announced, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The big thing, new expansion was announced.
Yes.
Battle for Azeroth. So
yep.
Yeah. The basic points here: level cap increased to 120. Of course, makes sense. Yeah, big surprise, right?
Shocked they increased the level by that amount.
What they did with Legion and telling a story and kind of like wrapping up the story with Illidan is what they want to do for Anduin / Sylvanas as the leaders of their respective factions. Jaina and Thrall as kind of the like outliers who like, I don't know, like Thrall obviously starting the Horde and kind of disappearing and honestly causing a lot of shit for them because he was obviously the one who should have led them to glory and instead fucked off and let a bunch of like terrible people run things.
Garrus was not good. He was bad.
No,
Garrus
Thrall
was bad.
fucked up. Thrall fucked up real bad.
I mean, again, I blame Blizzard for that story choice.
Yeah, sure.
That was a bad story choice.
And then Jaina,
and Varian, and honestly, I felt the same way about Varian, except Blizzard like wrote him better. They fixed him.
Yeah, for sure. And then of course Jaina being crazy now just fueled by nothing but hatred and revenge, which is why I absolutely love her. I understand her. She's fueled by the same thing that fuels me. Just hatred and revenge, specifically against the Horde.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one that it's like I don't like the story thing that happened that drove her that way, so I'm like meh about it.
Oh, you mean the nuke?
I don't like that happened. I don't like it.
It's stupid. It's fucking dumb.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's easy. Is the thing? It's cheap.
I mean, I don't like it as like you kind of want. It's just the Horde are the bad guys. Then, like, okay, if you're gonna do that, do it. But they didn't lean into it hard enough either. Yeah, because they like moved away from Garrosh actually being part of the Horde.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you're gonna do that, then you have to do the war versus then.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they should have. You're right. I mean, that would have been cool.
Instead, everyone who's on the Horde feels, but also just everyone on the Horde felt bad. Like, I don't want to follow this guy. Like, the players were just as pissed about that too. So,
man, that would have been cool though if that's the way they like introed this. Maybe.
Yeah,
it would have fit.
I mean, it would have worked better than what they did. But
yeah,
I think what they did was a mistake either way. So, I don't want them to do it again. But
and Vol'jin. So, Anduin Sylvanas, Jaina Thrall, and Vol'jin. These are all characters that they kind of want to explore a arcing storyline with, apparently. And
I mean, they kind of fucked up with Vol'jin last time.
Yeah. I mean, they have to this time, though, because of where we're going and all that.
Yeah.
So, where we're going, 2 new continents were added. And this is exciting to me, because the Alliance and the Horde are actually split up again, completely. Mm-hmm. I don't have to see Horde bullshit in my fucking capital city.
What Horde bullshit is in your capital city? I don't even remember.
People. In Dalaran?
In Dalaran.
Yeah, gotcha. That's what I mean. The hub.
Dalaran. Okay.
Yeah.
The hub, not the capital city.
The hubs, right. Because they've been together, like there was Shatrath, Dalaran, and Northrend. Cataclysm was just the normal cities, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. What else was there? Pandaria. There was.
Yeah, there was a city, and I forget what it was called.
It was like it was segregated not by like Horde and Alliance, but by like.
I mean, that place was just weird and spaced weird and big, like that.
Pandaria sucked. It was bad.
I mean, I didn't do endgame stuff in Pandaria.
I guess the point is that I remember the time where Horde and Alliance were segregated to their own sides, and it was humans versus orcs. And,
I mean, it was a basic structure of the game. Like, it was a big draw of the game. Like, that was what was different about it than was how hard they leaned into that stuff. That was one of the things that set it apart from EverQuest for me, was how hard they pushed it.
Right. Until they
Whereas
didn't
in EverQuest,
anymore.
you're just like, you couldn't go to certain cities. If you were certain races, you would just get killed by the guards.
Right. So that's going to be coming back, basically. 2 new continents. Alliance get to go visit Kul Tiras with 3 different continents, or not continents, like little areas you can focus on there. Tiragard Sound, which is run by House Proudmoore. Drustvar, run by House Waycrest. And Stormsong Valley, which is run by House Stormsong. So the idea for the Alliance, I guess, is that you're gaining the reputation with the different houses and like basically trying to get all of Kul Tiras together to like fight against the Horde in the like sea battles that are going on or whatever. I guess.
And you're actually recruiting. There's like the allied races thing, which we'll talk about when we get to it, but that's like built into that.
Yeah, I guess like this is probably a decent time to say that the whole idea of this is like not naval battles necessarily, but you are in the sea trying to like push your like factions boundaries more, like taking over more land and whatever. So you're kind of meeting up in the Great Sea where a bunch of islands are, and that's like where this is all taking place.
Yeah. And the other part about this that I really like is, as someone who theoretically would level a Horde and an Alliance character, like having the content be different is huge.
Oh, for sure.
Legion, I just had no interest in leveling another character. It was one of my problems with it.
Yeah.
It was just I couldn't even finish the legendary weapon grind on one character. I wasn't gonna go play another one, and it would just be the same story stuff. So like making that stuff different, I like that. That's a thumbs up for me.
Yep, I'm with you 100%. So for Tiergard Sound, it is the capital of Kulturas, and the Alliance hub is located there. It's led by Catherine Proudmoore, Jaina's mom, which is going to be interesting to see where they go with that stuff. And apparently there's a bunch of pirates that kind of like randomly attack and loot the area. They have been having more troubles with them. They would just kind of stick to their like nighttime raids and stuff like that and just stealing shit here and there. Apparently pirates are like attacking that area now, so that's going to be the focus, I guess, of doing that shit, which is interesting, I guess. Fighting pirates, sure, why not?
Pirates are big. Magic just did a set with Magic the Gathering just did a set with pirates, dinosaurs, and vampires, like the big draws.
That's literally what this is. That's literally what this expansion is. So let me tell you,
that is the commercial play for money.
Let me tell you about Drustvar. Drustvar apparently are the producers of arms and sausages for Kulturas, and I put a question mark there because why would they even bother saying that? Like, fuck off, Blizzard. It's a forested mountainous region, but the big thing is it's cursed. It looks like Duskwood or whatever the fucking area is called.
Look, when you say mountains, I get high mountain flashbacks. So any variety is good.
No, this is more
variety, man.
This is more like the second place you visit as the Alliance in Northrend, but like a dark version of it. I should say that all of Kulturas looks like Canada to me, and that's like super annoying. Because like I've seen this shit before. There's like mountain ranges with like snowy tops and just like creeks and forest and dead people walking around. It's basically Canada, and I fucking hate having to play through my home country.
I mean, you already went through Northrend. I'm sure that was bad enough.
That was like going through the Arctic part of Canada. So
yeah, that's fair.
And Stormsong Valley is the area of this continent that apparently produces all the ships, and their whole thing is they are being attacked by dark forces from the sea, which could mean literally anything, but I'm pretty sure it means Naga specifically, because they said in a throwaway line, and we'll be on the lookout for Azshara at some point. Like,
gotcha.
So I'm sure that's going to be expansion and raid content is probably Azshara stuff. So, a lot of Naga bullshit, I'm sure, to come from this. The Horde get to go to Zandalar, which is so much more, like, lore interesting in general to everybody who's played WoW for many reasons. Zandalar also has 3 main regions. The first one being Zuldazar, which is the capital of the Zandalari tribe of trolls, and the Horde hub, which you're going to be staying at. And the hub city looks real cool from what they've shown of it. It basically looks like weird Mayan troll type like architecture, and it's fucking dope.
Yeah, that troll shit's fucking cool.
It's very cool.
Of like old troll culture, because like modern trolls, it's just like fucking huts, but like that old troll stuff is fucking stone, amazing shit.
Yep. So this is the amazing part of trolls for sure that the Horde are going to be getting. Zuldazar is ruled by King Rastakhan and his warrior girlfriend or daughter or something. I can't remember which it was. I didn't write it down because it didn't matter. They didn't give any information about it. And
it's also good to have a troll city, because they just haven't had a troll city. Like, they never had one.
It's true. They haven't. So it's real cool. The whole thing you'll be doing there is you're going to be investigating an uprising against the Zandalari from the Blood Trolls. And the Blood Trolls come from the next region over, which is called Nazmir. So Nazmir is a festering swampland. Think of Dustwallow Marsh from like what we know, but instead of a whole bunch of nothing, there's a whole bunch of creepy, scary shit. Basically,
Sounds like an improvement.
A huge
Whole lot
improvement
of
for sure.
whole lot of nothing is not my favorite things in zones.
No. So this is going to be filled with blood trolls and other monstrosities that they like have as pets and stuff, which is dope. Blood trolls are fucking dope. Basically, like the magic rituals and stuff they've shown, instead of like this weird dark orb with like dark lines going to it, it's just like blood and stuff. It's cool. It's very cool stuff. Also, they look like blood elves but for trolls. So that's not as cool, but it's still fine because they're trolls, so whatever. This is where the idea
Lions
here...
Trolls, next expansion.
Here you'll be... excuse me. You'll be enlisting the help of Loa here, and Loa are the troll deities, basically, like gods. So the Loas would be like... I can't remember the name of them specifically, but in Burning Crusade there was like the Dragonhawk, the bear, the lynx, the like kind of godly spiritual helpers or whatever, like elites essentially. The idea is you want their help because they give you some secrets that the Titans left for you to uncover here and stuff, so it's super powerful, as they put it, world-ending stuff that maybe nobody should have the power to wield, essentially.
I mean, there's so many things in WoW that could end the world. Like you gotta get your own piece. You just have to be you want to be in the game. You gotta end the world. What are you doing if you can't end the world? What are you doing?
Exactly. And their last area is called Voldun, which is the desert region. So the interesting thing here is Kulturaz all looks like the same fucking area. Zandalar has 3 completely different regions, and I'm so angry. The Zuldazar is like the jungle type, like deep jungle region. Nazmir is a swampland with like terrible things lurking in it. And Voldun is like an arid desert with like a bunch of death and decay in it as well. So, Voldun is where they would send criminal exiles, apparently, so there's going to be skeletons and corpses and super strong stuff there, obviously. But weirdly enough, there are a new type of people called the Volpera, which are fox people there that you can recruit as allies to your cause. That's weird.
Nice.
So, furries everywhere just got a little harder today. Hearing that.
If they were playable, maybe.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You'd be more excited.
There's still going to be like Rule 34 fucking everywhere, but these midget fox people. I don't know. I'm not into it, but I think this is the horde version of gnomes, maybe.
No, those are goblins.
Yeah, you're right. That is goblins. I don't know what these people are there.
Exactly, goblins.
They're just there, I suppose. The cool thing I thought is that Sethrak are here. So Sethrak, for people that don't know, are basically snake people.
Yeah, those snake people look cool. I wish you could play as one of them, honestly. I wish they were playable. They're dope.
Yeah, so that's cool that they like brought the Sethrak back. The only time you really saw a Sethrak before, I mean, were in all the troll things, I guess, specifically.
Yeah.
In the raids and stuff, so that's cool. I'm super glad those are back. We'll talk about allied races in a second, because that's super interesting stuff. Going on with the zones, I had here, I just don't know where the hell they are. New dungeons are coming, obviously. Yeah. So this kind of ties together a little nicer, so I'll just go through that. 10 new dungeons are coming, 5 for the Alliance, 5 for the Horde. And the Alliance get Freehold, which is in Tiergard Sound, full of bandits and thieves, etc. So it sounds like it's going to be like the... What's it called? In Stormwind. That dungeon. Holy shit! Why can I not think of the name of that stupid dungeon? The one where all the dudes are kept, and like I think Hogger's down there as one of the bosses now.
The stockade.
The stockade, that's right. Yeah, so I think this sounds like Tiergard sounds stockade, basically, which could be okay. Waycrest Manor, which is in Drustvar, and this is the ancestral home of one of the most powerful families in Kulturas. So that's probably going to be ghosts and shit, I'm guessing. Just like a giant house. Maybe like a small caravan. Maybe vampires? Yeah. It sounds like it could be vampires, honestly. We'll see.
Yeah, who knows?
Like a tiny caravan. Tol Dagor, which is a coastal thing, I guess, on Kulturas. It's a prison island. So that'll be more prisoners and bandits and pirates, I'm sure. So that's awesome. I'm so glad the Alliance get some variety here. Shrine of the Storm in Stormsong Valley. The only thing they had about this is Priests of the Sea bless new constructed ships. And I'd put ... okay on the notes because I don't know what the fuck that means. So, yeah, that should be interesting. And Siege of Borealis, I guess? Siege of Borealis. So, Borealis is the capital of Tiergard, and I guess you're laying siege to the city probably. It's the high-end dungeon. It's the max level dungeon you can do.
Gotcha.
So I'm guessing you're probably either taking part of it back, or like you're being sieged and you're fighting against stuff. I'm not really sure yet. The Horde get Atul Dazar in Zuldazar, which trolls engage in dark ritual, sounds like Gundrak Dungeon, undead stuff, and dinosaurs, which it sounds dope. I've fucking loved Gundrak and Zuldrak and like that whole area. I really like the like dark, morbid troll like ancestral shit going on a lot. So one of the first dungeons you'll be able to do as Horde is that, and that's fucking cool to me. In Voldun, there will be a dungeon called Temple of Sethralis, which is a temple to the deity of the Sethrak.
Yes,
so,
snakes.
Again, kind of like Gundrak, I guess, but instead of like a bunch of troll stuff, it's specifically snake people. The Underrot in Nazmir, and this is an underground subterranean dungeon, and it's apparently where you'll find the primary source of the Zandalar corruption, which is going to be kind of gross, I'm sure, and cool. I'm excited to see what that is. King's Rest.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say about that the Sethralis stuff. Yeah. Fighting snake people is way more interesting to me. To like in Vanilla WoW, there was Wailing Caverns where you would fight snake people, but they were night elves. They were just night elves that turned into snakes. It was less interesting than snake people.
Like for people that don't know what the Sethrak are, think like a human body with a big snake head. Actually, if you've played Dark Souls, they're exactly like the dudes in the Sen's Fortress, the snake people there. They're exactly like that. So that's what those are.
I just really like the design.
Me too. King's Rest in Atel Dazar is a tomb of ancient kings, so I'm sure there'll be a bunch of random shit there that you'll probably fight. And their main end level dungeon.
Human kings? Oh, like human king? Like what race?
No, probably troll kings.
Trolls
don't
kings?
have. They have warlords. They don't have kings or war chiefs, I guess. Right? Yeah, probably human kings. I would assume.
Interesting.
And Kazan, max level dungeon. And what they had here is the goblins dug too deep, and we revisit it like years later to see what happened. Because that was their place, right? That was the goblin area? Kazan or whatever, originally?
Oh, was that it? Okay.
That's because I remember that name. And I thought that's what that was. To be honest with you, I didn't look it up ahead of time, and I probably should have. But
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's the homeland of goblins.
Yeah, okay. So they dug too deep, and something fucked up happened. So we get.
That's
it's
great.
kind of. It's kind of like.
I love goblin mistakes.
Kind of like gnomes. How Gnome Regon was a thing. So
yeah.
It's cool.
It's the same thing basically.
Yeah.
Except
Yep.
Goblins dug too deep. That sounds like a thing goblins would do. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm annoyed because the Horde have the things I want to see lore wise and just aesthetic wise in this expansion, so we'll see what happens.
Sounds more interesting.
New raid, obviously, for endgame. A large pyramid that looms over Zandalar, created by the Titans to quarantine and prison the old gods, is like the lore behind it. So there's going to be 8 bosses, no real details have been given. And then they had the throwaway line of something to do with Queen Ashara likely to happen eventually.
So many old gods that are jailed up.
Yep.
So many.
Yep. For sure. So, yeah. That's why I kind of wanted to do it with zone stuff, because
yeah, for sure. That made sense.
I should have put it higher up, honestly.
Since they split it up that way.
Yep.
Too.
Okay, so the idea here is that the factions are completely at war again, and each faction wants to gain a little bit of an upper hand. So what they will be able to do is recruit what are called allied races. So the big thing about allied races is that they're basically
they're brand new. They're all new, completely original.
No.
Do not steal.
They're kind of like how we were talking about like Mira's Marauders, which are just basically like a type of Terran. They're basically just types of the they're lore important types of specific races, I guess, which is kind of cool. It's kind of a cool thing you can do.
It's a good idea. It's like kind of a bummer. You have to unlock them before you can play as any of them. But
yeah. So yeah, you have to recruit them into your army essentially, and then you can create a race of that kind for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently they're gonna have a series of quests to unlock, which makes sense. You're gonna like try to hire them essentially into the Horde or the Alliance, and they begin at level 20 when you do unlock that race, because they just want you to start higher, I guess, if you went through all that work.
But that's like not that much higher. That's so weird.
It's weird.
I guess that's like
when you get your mount,
you can
right?
play free to level 20. I feel like.
Wow, I didn't even consider that.
So it's actually just the dirtiest reason. Yep.
That's real shitty. Okay. Sure, why not? That's fine. You can't unlock them unless you own the game, though. So
yeah, but if you unlocked them and then stopped paying.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the big thing you get with these races is that when you level to 110, you unlock their heritage armor, which is just a transmog set that any class across the board can use, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. That's fine.
That's good.
So like, you can actually...
a reason, like a justification to have leveled your character other than learning them and seeing the content is good. That's a cool thing.
Apparently,
except if you really want it and feel forced to grind, that's kind of annoying. But
this transmog armor apparently works with no matter what it is. So you can have like a priest that wears cloth look like he's wearing, I mean, I'll just spoil one of them, Dark Iron Dwarf gear.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting, just
because it's the idea is it's the armor of that people, right? It's not the armor of the class or anything. Okay. So for the Alliance, we get Void Elves, which are the elite Nightborn elves or whatever that are trained by what's-her-face in that place that I can't remember the name of because I didn't play a whole lot of Legion. They are basically just dark elves that are scarier looking, essentially. Lightforged Draenei, which I'm super stoked for, because okay, here's the weird thing, is that when Burning Crusade came out, they had Draenei and they made Paladins out like a thing for them, and the opening cutscene is of what's-his-face grabbing the hammer and the tome and like going off into battle. So it took them this fucking long to make the most basic thing, but whatever. They're very glowy, light touched Draenei, basically.
Yeah.
They're yeah. But being the paladin fan I like that armor quite a bit. So, what's up?
I wonder if you can race change to these races when you get them.
I'm sure you could
after you unlock them.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure.
But you don't get the armor because even though you leveled your character, you wouldn't get the heritage armor.
I assume you would. Why wouldn't you? It's because the thing is that'd just be 110 of that race. So you're essentially buying the armor and the race if you do a race change.
I wonder.
Yeah. The big one for me, Dark Iron Dwarves.
I wonder if you could get the heritage armor, then race change, and then still have the heritage armor.
I'm sure, probably. It's probably just like a box that ticks on your account. Dark Iron Dwarves, I'm so fucking in. I've wanted Dark Iron Dwarves since the day I met them. But it's weird because for the longest time, Dark Iron Dwarves were like the real bad ones. They were the ones that lived at Blackrock, and they were like dealing with shit that people shouldn't be dealing with. Like, what are they doing? What are they doing there? We have to stop them. But now it's like, nah, now we need them, actually.
I mean,
yeah.
You've done some crazy shit, too.
Well, here's the thing. For the Horde, one of the ones they get is Zandalari trolls, and they were the same thing. They were not to be talked to. They were bad trolls. So, but,
I mean, the Horde already had the undead, so...
Yeah, the Horde eventually just didn't care.
And the fucking Death Knights are a thing in everyone, so...
Yeah, for sure. So, Horde get Zandalari trolls, which is like the main troll faction you're trying to get, obviously, since you're living in their city and trying to talk them into joining you. You get High Mountain Tauren, which fucking whoopee, as far as I'm concerned. Fuck High Mountain and fuck everything that comes out of it.
Oh my god, High Mountain. Fucking High Mountain.
So, the weird thing about the High Mountain Tauren specifically to me is that, actually, you know what? They feel very much like the Lightforged Draenei, where it's like, of course, the Lightforged Draenei are a thing. Like, of course, High Mountain Tauren are a thing. Instead of, like, a weird, like, American Indian, Native American type tribalistic thing, they're now, like, a Canadian Indian, Native Canadian tribalistic thing, Aboriginal thing. Like, it's the exact same thing. Instead of a paladin, they are now a Lightforged Draenei. Like, it's the same fucking thing. So whatever. And Horde get Nightborn.
You can be a Lightforged hunter.
Yeah, that's true.
Paladin hunter.
Paladin hunter. Sounds like the name of like a really bad show on True TV.
You can have your Paladin bear.
Yep.
That'd be great.
That would actually be pretty good. Horde get Nightborn, which is cool. That just makes sense. Yeah. I was actually surprised in Legion that there was no way that they added that race, because that seems like the time they would have done it, but now they did it, so there you go. Other big stuff coming. Level scaling is coming to Classic Zones, which is huge. Huge. To be able to, like, play that classic stuff any way you want. Because, dude, fuck Westfall at level 10. I'm so sick of going to Westfall. Like, so, the idea is apparently they'll have kind of like max levels for an area, and the idea is you'll never reach that max level. So Elwyn Forest might be like level 1 to level 80 or something dumb, like, or 60 or whatever. But like, you'll never, there's not enough content in each region that you'll reach that max level for that area. But they kind of want to make it so that the thing that they gave is that for the Horde starting up in Silverpine Forest, they don't want it to be like where if you go to the Plague Lands, you're safe. They still want it to be like this is a high level area and you will get completely wrecked sort of thing. They want that danger still there.
They just like widen the windows for stuff.
Yeah.
And built in the Legion level scaling in areas.
Yes. Right.
Because that stuff's like just super nice. It's just convenient.
Yep. The other big thing is you can choose which expansion you want now to level. Which is real nice because I hated going to Outland at level 60 or
It was
58.
the worst.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
Yeah.
Because you could just feel like, oh yeah, this is the old expansion where and with like these big areas that it's like super slow.
Yep.
I'm so happy.
I'm so happy to be able to go to Northrend at like level 60.
And also, like, I mean, it's also a good thing. There's just so much leveling content you can do, and you breeze by it so fast.
Yeah.
Like, you can just go to Northrend.
Yep.
Like, on this character, like, I mean, leveling is so quick. So,
for sure,
just give choices and that stuff instead of like all the end stuff is just not accessible because you're just gonna level past it.
For sure. So the way they're thinking of doing it, because they haven't implemented it just quite yet, is they want to make it so that Outland will scale from 60 to 80, as well as Northrend, and Cataclysm and Mists of Pandaria will scale 80 to 90, etc. And then 90 to 110 or whatever will be Legion.
So I can do Wrath, I can do Cataclysm, and I can never go to Helen again, and I never have to do Pandaria.
Yeah.
It's great.
I mean, that's pretty much it, for sure.
10 out of 10.
Yeah. No, it's a really good idea. Also, the scaling will apply to all dungeons and rewards you get from quests and dungeons.
This one's also super big to me.
Yep.
Like, because even it's like sometimes I just want to level a character by doing dungeons over and over again, and like widening those windows and making that stuff work better. Like, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
No, it's super good. It's a really good change. Also, this is coming real soon. This is coming in the next major patch, which will be 7.3.5, because they want people to be able to start leveling up that like a new character if they want to or whatever for the new content.
I might level a character.
I
like
might
this
too.
Destiny stuff, because I'm like I'm 270 in Destiny already. I don't have like that much shit to do in Destiny.
Yep. I might do it too, honestly.
That'll be a thing.
Yep. So that's really cool. Let's see what else we got here. I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but it's because some of this other stuff is real big.
Yeah.
Okay. There's going to be a stat squish. Obviously. They're going to make the numbers go lower.
They do it every time.
They do it every single time. But they feel like it was important enough to talk about because people complain like about that shit. So they've announced it, we'll say. They are thinking of killing off the artifact weapon. That is not going to be a thing anymore. Again.
I mean, I found it annoying.
Yep.
It was cool. I mean, honestly, they could have done it just better, but it was too fucking much. It was just annoying.
They haven't announced how.
I played a lot of Legion, and it just wasn't. I just didn't get close to finishing that.
Yep. They haven't said how though. They said there is going to be a send off for them or whatever. So there's going to be that. They are adding a new artifact.
Yeah, I mean
the Heart of Azeroth.
That's like the rings they had before.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a simpler version, which like is more what you need.
Yeah.
Like it's something, but it's not fucking oh my god.
Yep. So the Heart of Azeroth is going to be an artifact that's given to you by Magni at the very beginning, I guess. And what this is a medallion that you don't equip in a slot necessarily. You just have it on you. And it's a source of power that powers up other specific items that like draw from it. So the idea is that you power this up with a new resource called Azerite, which of course, just call it fucking unobtainium. Why not? Like, who cares? So Azerite, you gain from different things we'll talk about in a second coming up. And that's what's used to empower it. You empower it to unlock different potential in different other pieces of armor you have. And they're thinking right now that it won't be used to empower all of your armor, but maybe like 3 key pieces, they said. So probably like a helm, a chest piece, and maybe like gauntlets or a weapon, maybe like a legendary weapon or something. I don't know. The idea is that they looked at the artifact system. They got the feedback from people saying, why do I have to choose to put all my resources into my healing spec artifact when now I'm Retribution and my artifact is fucking trash and I can't power it up? The grind is terrible. So this idea is simply, okay, like the grind is still there a little bit. It'll be a little bit easier to like level up or whatever, or to empower, and it'll work across multiple things that draw from it, just in general. So that's really cool. You only have to do it once, and then like you can change gear out and all that sort of stuff. So you get that back as well.
And also, the getting new weapons is fun. Having one weapon
sucks.
Boring.
Yeah, totally. There's no skill tree associated with it. What there are different levels of like power that can be unlocked for each weapon. So like what they showed is like the stupid round thing, which looks like Dante's Circles of Hell, and I hate it. But like what it is like 3 different layers. There's like an inner ring, and middle ring, and an outer ring. And then depending on what the power of your artifact is, you can choose like things on the outer ring, the inner ring, or like the middle ring or the inner ring, and that'll like choose what power-ups that item has or what like special abilities. It's cool. It's a good idea. I definitely agree that the weapon artifact needed to die. It was bad. It was fun for the first while, and then it was bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was the thing that killed my interest in the game. Even though it's the thing that's supposed to keep you in the game, but it was just like, it was like the Warframe thing. It was like, this is just annoying. It wasn't the Warframe thing of being confusing. It was the Warframe thing part where it's like the grind is too big, and I don't see the end in a time that's convenient for me.
Yeah.
And like that I can upgrade it at my own pace, that I feel like constrained by dailies. It's just...
Actually, on that point, if they had made it where I could have bought the resources using like microtransactions for the artifact weapon, I probably would have. Honestly, the way like Warframe allows you to buy a new frame if you just want to change things up. Like if I want to be a healer, and like say I'm in a raiding guild, like I'm a healer, so my artifact weapon is real good. All of a sudden, a new expansion comes out. And like, oh shit, I need to go ret so I can solo a little bit. I would pay $20 to have a better solo experience in that game again. Like,
I mean, I prefer the game to be structured better.
Sure. Yeah.
So that
because it's
doesn't
not.
Feel like
it's also not free to play. If Warcraft is free to play, it's fine. Yeah. So they fixed it.
I'm curious what they'll do for the artifacts for leveling. I'm curious how they'll handle that for leveling past it now that once the new expansion is out.
Yeah.
When you're just like going through those levels quickly as one character. Will that whole skill tree be there and like theoretically you could grind it out? Will you get them? Will they take them out completely? Like, I don't know. I'm curious.
I'm kind of curious if maybe you take the artifact and then you like extract the Azurite out of it. So however powerful it was kind of empowers your new thing to a decent level, so that people that did grind it out aren't fucked by it.
I would expect people to get fucked.
Yeah, me too.
Like the new expansion, your end game shit, you kind of get fucked. Like that's tradition. So I don't
you're right. That. It's true. Yeah. So that is that for that stuff. Okay, the big stuff coming up though. They are completely changing how PvP stuff works. Completely. It makes sense.
They needed to. That was another disappointment for me with Legion, was the PvP stuff felt the same. It felt, and what they did change it was like they added a grind, like a perks tree. It wasn't interesting enough to go through all that same content again with that. It wasn't interesting.
I totally agree. So first of all, just the basic stuff, PvP changes. They're adding a new battleground called the Seething Shore. This takes place in Silithus, and what you do in it is you fight over Azurite that quote-unquote bubbles to the surface. This is how they put it. This is going to be kind of like Arathi Basin, where there are control points. The difference is the control points won't always be the same areas like Arathi Basin. They will be randomly generated areas, and there will be multiple of them. So it'll just be like a big battlefield of a bunch of like people congregating in certain areas at certain times and running to other areas and killing each other on the way and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's what that's going to be. This is going to be available in patch 7.3.5 as well, because this apparently is stuff tied into building the whole like conflict storyline they're doing. So the Seething Shore stuff is built into their story and lore a little bit of the Alliance and Horde tensions growing, essentially. The big thing here, though, is that I play on a PvP server. A lot of people I know play on PvE servers because they just want the experience without worrying about fighting. I always felt like if you're playing Warcraft, Horde and Alliance should be able to kill each other while they're trying to do stuff because
I mean that was the draw of the game.
Yeah.
It was a big selling point on the original game.
Yep.
I didn't PvE server seemed like you were just missing a big part of the game.
We used to call them Care Bear servers and other terrible names that I probably won't say here because it's like bad derogatory terms. But the reason being that like I think most people that got into Warcraft back a long time ago believed in the whole like I want to be able to kill Alliance or Horde people while I'm leveling. Like if I see one of them, we're gonna like destroy them because this is a world at war. They're bringing that back. There will no longer be PvP PvE. They're just servers now. All servers are gonna have PvP in them. The way they choose this is that you will choose on an individual basis whether or not you want to engage in PvP. So what you'll do is in a capital city, you opt into world PvP, and
it's big that you have to be in the capital city to do it because there's bullshit you can do if you could do it out in the world.
Yeah,
like kill someone, then turn it off. Like there are games that let you do that. That's lame.
Yeah, I think the important thing here though is that when you opt into PvP, you actually go back out into the world instanced as PvP. So only other people who have engaged in PvP will be able to like see and interact with you.
This is like in line with their server sharing stuff. Like it just makes more sense to bridge as much stuff as you can at this point in the way the new game is built.
Yep.
Like if you're not just building individual servers that are their separate thing and have their own community and stuff that you're building, make it all connect.
Yep. So that's huge. That's a huge thing because you can actually just play with anybody now, basically.
Yeah,
like you can join the same server.
And the other reason I like this is when you make all the servers follow this one rule, and PvP is just a part of all servers.
They're all cross-server.
It incentivizes them to work on PvP.
Yes,
because when it's only like half your players can engage with it, there's less reason to work on it. And part of the problem with the world PvP stuff is they just stopped giving a shit.
Yep.
Like they stopped working on it. It hasn't evolved, and it's gotten worse because of the cross server stuff. It's just less. It feels less engaging. Like I play that game now, and I'm like, I just don't want to fuck with people. It's not worth my time. I just want to get through my levels. Even though theoretically, I think that stuff's fun. So
also
the big thing to me is you get a XP boost when you're in PvP mode.
Yep, and
that's big to me because I like playing with PvP on, so getting those XP boosts sounds good. It also makes sense because you can get punished.
Oh, for sure.
So getting something out of it is perfect.
I mean, there might be times where I turn off PvP because I just want to like listen to a podcast and not work and gather materials and not worry about being killed. Sometimes
you don't want to worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, and having the ability to turn it off is fun.
Yeah. With this comes some new social stuff as well, because now, a long time ago back in the day, you chose a server, you were stuck in that server. That's your part of the world. If people were in other servers, they basically didn't exist. Then they made battle groups where a bunch of servers were kind of part of the same battle group, and you could join instanced things with them, with other people from other servers and specific servers, and do PvP stuff with them. It was kind of their way of showing that like the game is getting smaller, so we're going to put people together to make it still feel seamless. This is kind of just like the extension of that, I feel, where the game has gotten small enough where they're no longer this just like gigantic thing. They have to kind of do this thing where everybody can interact with whoever they want at any point. And to do that, there are some new social features coming. They are integrating Blizzard's voice chat, like we said before, so there's that as well. They're adding communities, which is the weird thing to me. So what communities are they're like a guild, but there's no shared bank, tabard, or achievement system. People can join them from any server. They're cross-realm membership, and you can join multiple of them at once. So we can have it's basically like a collective friends list essentially in game. We could have like a Burning Barrel 1 and a TDP 1 or whatever. And then like being part of multiple of them, you could just be like, oh, I don't have anybody playing in guild. Let's see if somebody in top-down perspective wants to play for a little bit.
And it's like a way to group that doesn't have the play restrictions of a guild. Like, because if you're a raider, you're going to be in a raid guild,
and you have the bank,
be in a
and
group with your friends. Yeah,
right.
And there's like a structure to that. This is just like your social thing. You want to be in a group with your friends. Like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. So they're adding that, and I think that's super important. Like, super important for sure. What else do we have? Okay, we have the like new stuff they're adding. So you're on the Great Sea, you're floating around between islands, you have some new stuff you can do. One of them's called Island Expeditions, and this is basically what a Destiny strike is, essentially. What it is that they are a PvE sort of thing where you and 2 other players, it's a 3-player co-op thing, focus on exploring an uncharted island for gathering azurite. So the gnomes and the goblins are like creating devices to show where there's like giant deposits of azurite or something. You go out.
And it's like, and they're role agnostic, right? Like
they are role agnostic. You can have 3 healers.
Yeah, they're not built in a way that's like forces you to to class in particular ways.
That's right. Yeah, no. So it doesn't matter who you group with. You just kind of go in there. They focus on exploring the small island you're on, small scale conflicts as well. And it sounds like they have this advanced NPC stuff, which is essentially they created AI NPCs to act like players. And you are basically competing with them for the resources on that island. There are some PvP elements where if you have PvP on, those advanced NPCs turn into players. They just put you with other players doing that shit. Yeah, so that's what that stuff is. The big one is Warfronts. They are building this world that is completely at war. This is hard to talk about in generalized terms, but we'll just say it's basically Warcraft 3 RTS stuff in this game. It's a large cooperative PvE arena type thing. So what it is a 20-player co-op, which is going to go so poorly, I'm sure.
I'm already excited.
You get dropped into this battle or Warfront, they call them. The first one's going to be Stromgarde, just in the Arathi Highlands for anybody who knows lore and stuff, and they're rebuilding Stromgarde, which thank God, because Stromgarde is stupid looking and that area sucks, so I'm so glad they're doing a thing there now. What will happen is you will be put down into the Warfront. You have to create a base, like a town hall, or I can't remember what Horde's version of it is. Community hall or something. I don't know. It's something very similar. It's your headquarters, essentially. You have to build one of those. Then you go out in the area and you secure resources and take territory from just like NPCs that are hanging around there to like get more resources, essentially. You're like gaining resources and sending peons out and shit like that with you, but you're in like it's still the same game. You're out there doing it. You're running around and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're building bases, and this is where it gets a little hairy because your whole team can build. So like you can like build a barracks and another person can build like a barracks at the same time, but them building it won't destroy yours, so you can just have this like huge clusterfuck of the same building, I guess, in theory, which is terrible.
So it's 20-person Fortnite.
It's 20-person Fortnite. Yeah,
except you're not just tower defending, you're also building units to go attack.
Yes, so you are training or building units from barracks or whatever, and you're gaining armies to kind of like fight each other. I'm guessing they're going to act like creeps, I would assume.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
Where they're just kind of
waves.
Yeah, just kind of wave attacking each other in the middle. And then the idea is you're going to be on the front line with your minions as they're fighting each other and other enemies or whatever, kind of like a MOBA. You're down there like fighting other minions and enemies and stuff as well. It's cool. It's a real cool sounding idea. I bet it sucks. I bet it's going to be fucking terrible because people don't cooperate well at all. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
That seems... It's weird.
Mm-hmm. It sounds real cool. Like, it sounds good. But, which means it probably won't be, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think it would be cool if we were able to find, like, 20 people and, like, do, like, a team-based thing. That would be cool.
I mean, that would be fucking amazing. That would be dope. But
see, that's
fucking finding 20 people?
That's the type of thing that, like, we could stream and, like, be huge on Twitch for streaming, right? Is the stupid thing where, like, nobody can find 20 people. So they watch, like, what a well-coordinated thing is. I think it would be cool, but, like, yeah, there's no fucking way. I'm having trouble finding 2 other people for Destiny 2 rating. Like, come on. So, yeah, those are the big new things. The Island Expeditions on the Warfronts. I think it'll be kind of exciting to get some new content in there, give you some new stuff to do. But that's pretty much it that they showed for WoW. I think there was some other little technical stuff I didn't pull because that stuff's like real small and unimportant. But overall, what do you think about Battle for Azeroth? That new trailer or whatever, that cinematic is real dope. We actually see Sylvanas being a Banshee for once ever.
For once. She can't even do that in HOTS. Like where's that ultimate? Come on.
It was dope, though, that part.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yep. Really
I want
good.
that. I want an ult like that in HOTS.
Right?
Honestly. That's what I was thinking. Come on. Ugh. She wasn't in that trailer mind controlling people or shooting an arrow with silence. She was turning into a fucking Banshee and wrecking shit. Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
What do you think overall?
Well, they didn't announce a new world PvP zone, which was one of the things that Legion didn't have that I was bummed about because I like those and I wanted a new one.
Well, I mean, the whole world is a PvP zone now, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how that's going to end up working in practice.
I like the idea that, like...
Because you need some structure to that. I mean, I
don't necessarily agree. I remember back in the day, you would have a group of assholes that would hang out in an area, and that would require the other faction to be in general chat being like, we need more to, like, take these fuckers out. And then there would just be, like, the sides feeding each other, and you would actually have a war happening just in the middle of the fucking Barrens or something, like some nowhere place. Like, that shit was cool.
I mean, that's harder to do when you have instance areas because you can't call in other people from the server. True. Like, you're still stuck with who's there. So, like, some kind of map objective, I feel like would be better. Like, and the thing I really miss is fucking city invasions, the way they used to work, because they were amazing and broke and, like, just the best. And now they're just like, it's whatever. You just get a group and you do it. It's not a thing.
How do you feel about, like, communities, though? There's probably going to be a community either made by Reddit or something that is, like, pure PvP or, like, Alliance Horde Killers or something. Like, there's going to be communities that will be groups of people across all servers that are, like, we're going to get together and we're going to, like, 100-man storm Orgrimmar or something.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like, what are your... I guess your end goals are like, I'm just not that interested in grouping and organizing with randos. Like, it's just not a thing I'm super into. So even if like communities are, like, probably too big for me, or it'll just be a small one with my friends. It's like, why? It's just like, yeah, I'll do it. But, like, at the end of the day, why do you need that in the game? So I don't know that I'd find one that's, like, the right size to be really useful and interesting. Because, like, theoretically, you could go make a Reddit thread and say, let's all do this or whatever, but...
Right, but this would be in-game, so people might actually do it if they're around.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I mean, that could be good. I mean, a reason for World PvP to be good again and matter would be great.
Yeah.
Just like have it happen, because it's a part of the game that's like was wrecked. It's just like doesn't exist. So I appreciate the effort to make it work. I don't know that what I've seen like convinces me that it will. I would say.
Sure. Okay. Fair
and
enough.
like that they're, because the thing is like the Warfronts is like interesting idea, but it's PvE. There's no PvP element to it, even though it's the war.
Right.
Like it feels kind of not the thing.
Okay.
It's not the thing. Because I mean that's what like the PvP zones, like fucking whatever the Ashran, that felt like a war zone. That's what that felt like. You had 40 people smashing their faces against each other with like a line. There was like no organization. There's nothing to do. It was just two faces of humanity smashing against each other, and eventually one would give.
Sure.
It was like, but I played that for two. That was the thing for two expansions, and like only one of them was it interesting for.
Yeah, that
The
was
other
the
one
last
just
one,
left
right?
over. It was yeah, that they didn't do one
Yeah.
for Legion. They did
Yeah.
nothing.
I think they're just going
Like,
away from that. Maybe.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's
The
what
other- I
Warfronts
mean-
are now.
Yeah. The other thing I missed was like they had in Cataclysm they had those big like I think it was 20 like just free for all arena where like one person would win at the end and
Oh,
get
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was just like little shit that's like competitive but like is just in the game. That's just they built this thing that feels sort of secretive. It doesn't feel like super constructed and structured. It's kind of like I want like a little madness. I want a little bit of madness.
Okay.
I don't want utter chaos like they don't know what they're doing, but I want a little bit of madness. And I don't know that I see that here yet. I see some structured stuff.
How would you feel about the idea of Warfronts having an MMR system?
Except then low MMR would be so bad. It would be so bad.
Yep. It'd be
Oh
so
my
bad.
god. It would be a fucking nightmare.
I love it. They should do esports of
You
20v20.
just lose. You just
Yeah.
lose. You lose
for
the
sure.
PPE.
For sure.
Like, I wonder how hard it's going to be.
Overall, I think the Horde get the better side of the lore stuff and the aesthetics this time around. For sure.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that Zandalar, each region is a completely different type of climate and, like, look and stuff, and all of the Alliance part kind of looks like... The weird thing is that the Alliance area looks like it could be an area that exists, but, like, I kind of I don't want that. Like, I'm playing a video game. I want weird shit going on. So, I don't know. We'll have to see.
That's kind of why that's like built into the reason why I chose Horde originally was variety of character stuff.
I just wanted dwarves, and dwarves were on Alliance, so that's why I chose
fair.
Alliance. Yeah.
Fair. I mean, if goblins had been a playable race originally, that would have been the reason I played Horde, but they just weren't.
Oh, okay.
Goblins are my favorite race in terms of one race, but
Queen Azshara stuff. I am looking super forward to maybe doing that stuff. So that could be cool.
I mean, I haven't raided since Wrath at all, so
Yeah.
I don't know that I care. I don't know but I mean, I like potentially would have done Raid Finder in I think I did Raid Finder in Draenor actually. No, in the Cataclysm. In Cataclysm I did Raid Finder. I don't remember if I did I don't think I did Raid Finder even in Draenor. I played a lot of that game.
I don't know. I did some.
I think
Raid
I
Finder.
just cared about PvP at that I think
I mean, that's fair. That's fair enough.
at endgame.
Okay.
I just don't want if the grind is like Legion, I will just bounce off it.
I agree.
If it's more forgiving and the PvP stuff is more interesting, I could stick with it and play it and then maybe level another character. Because that was the thing about Legion, was the grind was so bad it made me not want to play another character, which theoretically I wanted to do. But like, it was just too fucking. It was just annoying. It was just annoying.
I agree.
It's a bummer.
Wholeheartedly.
It's a bummer because the leveling was real fun.
All right, that is going to be it though for us. That's everything from BlizzCon. Overall thoughts on the show? More Diablo next time, please. For the love of fucking God, anything Diablo.
Yeah, it's a shame there was no Diablo. The HOTS reworks, I was excited about because I never know what to expect from HOTS other than characters from a BlizzCon. So getting actual like gameplay changes was interesting.
Yep.
It's not like the most sexy. It's not the sexiest thing. They didn't announce a new mode or anything, but I don't know that game can support something else.
Blizzard World looks great.
Blizzard World looks great. It was kind of just it was good. It wasn't I'm not blown away, but it was solid.
They don't need to add anything to Overwatch except content, honestly.
I mean overall. I was
the BlizzCon?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was the whole Starcraft 2 going free to play, like, huge for the implications, but we'll have to see how that plays off.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, for me, I play those games for the single player, but if I had someone to play the co-op with, and now that it's free, I'm down.
I mean, we could try it out.
So.
At least one. Why not, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course Warcraft. Warcraft always has a bunch of shit, especially on an expansion year. So that's cool. I'm sure we'll hear more as we go.
And it's just weird to me that Destiny is like the thing that convinced me, like, oh yeah, I'm definitely playing the next WoW expansion. Whereas like after Legion, I was like, I will level a character, but I don't know how into it I'll be. But I'm like, no, this stuff's still good. It's like,
honestly, I think communities will get me
okay.
interested too. I'll join a few communities and see which ones are not shitty. I guess. I'm sure there'll be a Reddit community, and I'm sure it'll be like the most cancerous fucking community ever. But I might be part of that for a little bit. Who knows?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that'll be it for BlizzCONversations 2017. Thank you for joining us. If you are from PDP Podcast and you listen this far, give yourselves a thumbs up, because I know this is generally a little bit longer than we like to go. And if you're not, you should listen to Top Down Perspective, where we talk about video game stuff all the time. Probably just a small overview this week of this stuff, obviously. But yeah, if you want to follow us on Twitter, do so at Exposure, EXFAUXSURE on Twitter. That's me. And Hank is Comic Panels. It's spelt exactly how it sounds, so you can give him a follow as well. If you want to play Blizzard games with us, maybe hit us up and see what we're doing. If you're part of Destiny 2, hit us up for rating. This is not the place to talk about it, but maybe I'll just throw that out there.
270. I hit 270 today.
Exactly. But yeah, that'll do it for us. So thank you for listening or watching if you're on YouTube, and we will see you next time.
I probably won't play Hearthstone with you. I don't have a deck that's good.